move it forward. The bill, which passed the House last year, enshrines the right to an abortion and pushes back against state-level restrictions. The Senate's failed vote comes as the Supreme Court is weighing a case that would curb Roe v. Wade. Pro-life organizations are calling for the election of, quote, a supermajority of pro-life lawmakers to ensure such legislation never appears before Congress again. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
Major League Baseball giving itself and the Players Association 6 hours to salvage opening day. After a marathon of 13 bargaining sessions over 16 and a half hours produced progress toward a labor deal and left the two sides still far apart, MLB extending its deadline to 5 p.m. today. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Tuesday, everybody.
D-Day.
Happy Election Day, yes.
Decision 2022.
Municipal Election Day, everybody.
Hope you woke up ready to make your voice heard.
Yeah, unless you early voted.
Yeah.
Then go back to sleep.
Yeah, then just, stare at the back of your eyelids for a little bit.
Or go to work.
Polls just opened, so, you could have slept in.
Actually, do they open at 7 or 8? I can't remember if it's, I know they closed at 7. I'm looking at my sheet here, and I'm trying to see. I think they open at 8.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
So you sleep in a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Enjoy yourself a nice breakfast.
Yeah, it doesn't say on my sheet here, but I know they close at 7. I think they open at 8.
Go get yourself a nice stack of flapjacks.
Yeah.
Sit around with your family and decide and talk amongst yourselves about your decisions.
Jacks of flap.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, if you are going to vote today, and if you haven't voted yet and you're registered and able to, you should do that.
Yes.
There are 6 different locations, voting convenience centers, around town that you can vote at. Those locations are the Boys and Girls Club of Chaves County at 201 South Garden, St. Mark's Lutheran Church, 2911 North Main Street, Country Club Road at Church of Christ at 700 West Country Club Road, Waymaker Church, 2020 South Sunset, the Chaves County Admin Building, 1 St. Mary's Place down at the south end of the building there. And you can also vote at ENMUR Roswell campus there in the Union Building at 48 University Boulevard.
And these are all voting convenience centers, so you don't have to go to any one specific.
You can go to any one of those places
and they will print your sheet based on your ward and all that.
If you live in the city of Roswell and registered to vote,
yep,
you can vote at any one of those 6 locations today.
That's right, Mackie.
Yeah. So, and every one of you will have a mayoral candidate selection and a contested city council race unless you live in Ward 5.
Right.
And then your Angela Moore is running unopposed there, so the incumbent. But everyone else, you've got decisions to make. And even Ward 5, you have a mayoral decision to make, so go vote.
You know what they should do? Now, I know that, making your voice heard and being a part of the discourse is already important enough. If they really want to bolster numbers at the poll, I'm not talking about any specific candidate. I'm talking about boosting overall voting numbers, especially for these municipal elections. We need to go the Vitalent route.
Okay.
Free T-shirt.
Out for voting.
People will do anything for a freaking free T-shirt, man.
I notice at remotes it's kind of like that.
Yeah, you put a free T-shirt with every vote. At any poll, the polling places. Watch, the numbers will skyrocket. People be getting their cousins out. Hey, can I vote once for my cousin?
Even Dallas Cowboys T-shirts.
Yeah, well, I was talking about shirts of value.
But even those people take them.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, you never know when you might need an extra rag for your car.
At least in
when you're out and your baby needs an extra fabric diaper.
August, September, October, they're okay. Usually by November, December, people are a little tired of them.
Yeah, the shirts get a little old towards the back half of the season.
Yeah, but
it's not the shirt's fault. The shirts, honestly, they do the job they were made to do. They're a shirt.
They are a shirt.
Mm-hmm. But I'm telling you, free T-shirts at the polls, man. That's how you boost the numbers.
There you go. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, maybe we'll work on that.
All right.
Swag. You got to encourage people to vote. But please, yes, go vote today if you have not already and you're able to. And like I said, you can go to if you go to roswell-nm.gov, you can see all the different polling locations. I'll mention them a few more times here between now and the end of the show here. But
yes,
definitely want to go check those out and go vote. I'm gonna do it after work today.
Yeah.
And then by the way, tonight I'm gonna be hanging out at City Hall as the results come in after 7:00 here. So I'll probably get over there between 6:30 and 7. And then set up shop, and then as results come in, I'll come on the radio here on this station, 106.5, and I'll probably update our Facebook.
Breaking news at this hour.
Yeah, and give you they got what they usually do is they have like a little lobby set up in the City Hall building there, and everyone kind of hangs out in there, and they've got a little computer screen and I believe it's open to the public. Anybody can go, and you just hang out there and. Watch the results come in.
With 0% of the precincts reporting, we can speculate with 50% certainty that Seabiscuit is the new mayor of Roswell. Congratulations to Seabiscuit. Long may ye reign.
But from what I understand, when the polls close, usually a little after 7, they'll have the absentee and mail-in, all that stuff counted, and then usually. About 7:30ish, they probably start seeing from the different voting convenience centers those numbers coming in.
Can you do write-in votes for mayoral elections?
I believe so.
Let's just see how many votes we can get for the Grimace. If you vote him enough times, he might show up. I think it's like 500 times, and he's like obligated to show up. It's in his contract.
Like Beetlejuice.
Yeah. Well, his is obviously 100 times great. His power is 100 times greater than that of Beetlejuice. So you have to say his name 500 times or write it in a mayoral election. Okay. It's a weird contract, admittedly.
Well, as long as I get a shake out of it, that's all I remember. Grimace was the shake guy, right?
There you go.
Chocolate.
It's a shamrock shake today.
Lucky.
I
noticed March 1st you're wearing green.
Yeah, I just thought I'd
16 days early.
Break it in early.
Yeah, 16 days early. But
well, this was the other the clean T-shirt in the closet. So
gotcha.
I'm like, I guess I'm gonna wear this today. It's also
green.
a 3X, so I'm going baggy.
I noticed it is roomy.
Yeah, I like a little room.
Yeah, you got kind of a tent situation going
room
on
for
there.
cream,
Yeah, it's hard to believe you do that big ones.
Yeah. Not that long ago, too.
I know that shirt. You're swimming in it.
I actually bought this shirt since I was skinny. It was because it was like I bought my St. Patrick's Day stuff late last year, and this was the only one that was left.
Oh, I gotcha.
So, yeah.
So it was either extra small or 3X. Gotcha.
Go with baggy.
Although
sometimes I like room for a friend. You never know.
There you go. You
never know what situation might present itself.
That's like a potato sack race.
What if my knees get cold? You never know. I might want to climb up inside.
Right?
Cocoon up. Nice.
It's his lucky tent.
That's right.
Well, let me give you the rundown for today's show here. We do have a full slate for you. We're going to have Robert Sherman from the Walker Aviation Museum join us here in just a little bit, give us a monthly update on what's happening over at the Walker Aviation Museum, and of course, encourage people to come check it out.
Yes.
In the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:15, we're going to have some of our state reps join us in studio, I believe. I think it's going to be Representative Greg Nybert and Representative Candy Spence-Zell, I believe, will be joining us here. But they're going to join us and recap the legislative session that wrapped up last week here. We didn't really get a chance to get them on last week with all the municipal candidates.
Oh, the hullabaloo.
Yes, we're going to have them join us today, and we'll talk legislative session with them. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, about 9:15, we're going to have some of the folks from the Leadership Roswell Alumni Association join us. They've got their, this is the last week to register for their teen leadership that's coming up later on this month. So we'll talk all about that with them and what it's about and why they should sign, why your juniors and seniors should sign up for this and all that good stuff. So we'll talk about teen leadership with them here about 9:15 or so. Plus, we'll have all of your features that include the news of the local and national variety, along with town hall business and whatever else we can come up with for today's show.
Indeed.
Yeah, that ought to cover it. All right, before we do anything else, let's take a look at that weather, which warmer. I know I don't feel it right quite at the moment, but warmer this week.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure is parked over southern Colorado, and that'll be bringing us fair weather today across eastern New Mexico, around 70 on our afternoon high, and we should get plenty of sunshine. Overnight, a few clouds will drop into the low and mid-30s. We're looking at about 75 again for the high on Wednesday, and sunny, a mix of sun and clouds, and mid-70s on Thursday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 32 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 29%. Winds currently out of the north at 6 miles per hour. They're saying mostly cloudy this morning, although I would label it as partly cloudy. Then gradually becoming sunny today. Highs near 72 expected with north winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy with an overnight low of 33 degrees. Southeast winds at around 5 miles per hour. Looking at your Wednesday, another warm day, mostly sunny with highs near 75 tomorrow. Winds will be light and variable, 5 to 10 miles per hour. For Wednesday night, we're looking at clear skies. Overnight low of 38, southwest winds around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Thursday, sunny, highs near 75. Little breezy, not too bad though. Really, the more breezes will be on Friday, but southwest winds 5 to 10 in the morning, 10 to 15 for the afternoon, and then Friday, mostly sunny and breezy. Highs in the low 80s, 82 on Friday, and then breezes continue Friday night. For the weekend, 74 and sunny Saturday, sunny and 70 on Sunday, and looks like we'll start the work week in the low 60s on Monday. But yeah, warmer this week, a little bit wind for the back half there, so we'll see how all that shapes up. All right, it is 17 minutes after 7 o'clock. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to have your Roswell Livestock Report recap with Smiley Wooten, then a couple of political ads, one more day of that. So then you get a bit of a break. But it's a quick commercial break, and then we'll talk Walker Aviation Museum with Robert Sherman on the other side. Don't go away.
Good morning, this is Smiley Wooten at the Roswell Livestock Auction. 1,295 head of cattle sold on Monday on an uneven market with excellent buyer attendance. Compared to last week, stocker calves sold 3 to 5 higher, feeder cattle steady to 2 lower, packer cows 2 to 4 higher, packer bulls sold steady, 3 to 400 pound steers 225, 233, 3 to 400 pound heifers 190.50, 197. 4 to 500 pound steers, 214, 225. 4 to 500 pound heifers, 171, 190.50. 5 to 600 pound steers, 168, 214. 5 to 600 pound heifers, 152, 171. 6 to 700 pound steers, 158, 50, 168. 6 to 700 pound heifers, 146, 152. 7 to 800 pound steers, 148, 50, 158, 50. 7 to 800 pound heifers, 146. 152. Packer cows 80 to 94. Canner and cutter cows 70 to 78. Packer bulls 95 to 104. Feeder bulls 80 to 87.50. Top half the cow calf pairs $1,350 to $1,575 per pair. Top half the bred cows $1,050 to $1,250 per head. Now remember, this is the top of the market and prices range down from this according to quality, quantity, condition, and feel. Next Monday's sale, we will offer the New Mexico Angus Association breeding bull and registered heifers. These cattle sale at 1 p.m. We do appreciate the business. This is Smiley Wooten, Roswell Livestock Auction.
Ed Heldenbrand, candidate for City Council. He's a patriot fighting against the waste of your tax dollars. As a CPA and Chief Financial Officer with over 35 years of experience, Ed understands the importance of managing budgets. By reducing the wasteful spending in the budget, we can lower your city water, sanitation costs, and work to reduce city fees. Roswell's potential is hurt by bad ideas and wasteful spending. Ed Hildebrand will never vote to shut down Roswell. He'll fight the job, education, and freedom-killing mandates from Santa Fe. It's important that taxpayers see improvements in our roads and city services to attract jobs, businesses, tourists, and to create an environment for local businesses to thrive. In Ward 3, you have a choice. Vote Ed Heldenbrand, the conservative candidate. With your vote, we can build a better Roswell.
I'm Ed Heldenbrand, City Council candidate for Ward 3, asking for your vote on Tuesday, March 1st. It's not about me, it's about we, and I approve this message.
Roswell is our home. That's why we've all got to do our part to stop illegal dumping. Throwing your trash, clutter, or yard debris in the alleys, sidewalks, or streets is a crime, and it takes time and money to clean it up. Those caught dumping illegally can face fines of up to $500. You can help by taking your waste to the landfill once a month for free with a paid water bill. Call the City of Roswell Solid Waste Department for more information at 575-624-6746. Help keep Roswell clean. After all, do you want your kids to grow up in a dump? Get Second Amendment savings now through the end of March at LGS Guns and Ammo. The authority for everything guns and ammo in Southeast New Mexico is having their annual high caliber tax refund sale. Save up to 15% on all accessories, 10% on all guns store-wide, and 15% off all Liberty safes. The annual high caliber tax refund sale is on now at LGS Guns and Ammo, Southeastern New Mexico's authority for guns and ammunition, across from Target and Roswell, and at 109 North Del Paso in Hobbs.
When you vote for City Council, vote for someone that has already made a difference. Over the last 35 years, Juliana Halverson has done just that. She's served this community in schools, youth programs, and scouts. With Main Street Roswell, she's worked to recruit and retain local business. She is the Republican conservative candidate with a proven commitment to our community. Vote Juliana Halverson, City Council, Ward 2, committed to Roswell.
I'm Juliana Halverson, and I approve this message.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. 1 in 3 snake bite victims is drunk. 1 in 5 is tattooed. Hold my beer and check this out. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 21 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Walker Aviation Museum, Robert Sherman back with us. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Election Day.
Happy Election Day to you. I hope, I know you already took care of business. So
I took care of business a few days ago, but
good for you. If I was more astute, I would have done the same thing. I just didn't get around to doing it. So today's the day.
Today's the day, right?
I used to be kind of in that mindset where when early voting first started, I was kind of like, no, election should be on election day. You know, that's kind of, and there is still a bit of me in the back of my head that feels that, but I'm also a man of convenience, and I do appreciate the fact that you can go and vote, weeks ahead of the day. If that Tuesday doesn't work out, you've got a month ahead of time to basically get it done.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. For folks that aren't familiar, Robert joins us here once a month, and we talk about the Walker Aviation Museum, which is located inside the air terminal at the Roswell Air Industrial Center. That used to be, for folks that are new to the area or do not know, that whole area, the south end of town at one time was an Air Force base, Walker Air Force Base, Roswell Army Airfield before that. And so the museum at the airport is something that we use to pay homage to the Roswell Army Airfield, Walker Air Force Base, and also talking about Roswell and this area's history during the Cold War as well, too.
Roswell used to be a lot noisier place.
It did.
B-52s and B-47s and B-36s and KC-90s, whatever.
Yeah, I imagine you think of any bomber that ran during World War II in that area, odds are pretty good that model of aircraft spent some time in Roswell.
Or Cold War.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, up until 67.
Yeah,
right.
until 67. Yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah.
definitely. Of course, right now is I know last time we talked to you guys, were doing some openings around the flight schedule there.
Yeah,
At the museum.
matter of fact, we could jump into that. Couple things. I beat myself up when I left last month, and I apologize to everybody. Is a couple things. One is how to get a hold of us. You can go to wafbmuseum.org, and there's some newsletters and publication displays and history and other stuff. And also, we now have an email, walkeramuseum@gmail.com.
Okay.
Instead of aviation, we just shorten it up by saying Walker.
Use the middle initial.
With the letter A and then museum, all one word, all one continuous thing. Also, I reluctantly, but I'll give out my phone number. But if we talk about the student orientation stuff that we have going, I would very much like to have people contact us if you have some possible, groups of kids that can come out and see us. But you're going to have to text me, because if it doesn't show up on my 400 or 500 names I have in my phone, I don't answer. I just let you go to voicemail. But if you just text me at this area code, 575, at 420, that's a pretty common cell phone number.
Yeah.
420, and then the number 3789. So that's not too hard to remember. If you can remember 3 and then 789 with a prefix of 420.
Gotcha.
Just text me that. Say, hey, we got a group of 13 to 18-year-old students, whether it's a church group or whatever. We'll talk about it in a minute. But I'll be very happy to try to coordinate and get the kids in there. We'd like to get kids in a group of 8 to 12 for about 2 hours at least. And
they kind of learn. Yeah, they kind of. It's STEM related stuff, so they learn like career fields, things as part of it.
Yep.
Part of it's learning the history, learning about aircraft and things, and then even opportunities for some of these kids to check out simulators, and like if you have any youth with aspirations of maybe becoming pilots someday,
right?
They can actually, in theory, start some of that training right now by learning the simulator, getting some seat time in that thing, and as you. And I know you guys kind of almost do like a library card system with folks.
Right. Once they've been through that orientation on the flight simulator, and we give them a little card that has a picture of a cockpit on it. It's like a Cessna 172 cockpit. But anyway, on the back it says, I'm an EduStation pilot. That's the name of our simulators.
Okay.
And with a number that we enter in a roster, and they just bring that in, flash that card, and we know that they've already been oriented. They can go back, and we'll let them use the simulator rather than it's not really a toy for people to just walk in off the street and start fiddling with, because it's kind of complicated and pretty expensive. And thanks to that, by the way, we wouldn't have those if it wasn't for Excel Energy Foundation. So
yeah, they did as they do each
a little grant there that enabled us to get those simulators. So that was really good.
That's awesome, and we do appreciate what they do here. But yeah, this, in theory, folks can, in essence, start their progress towards getting a pilot's license and getting some of the, because once you get in that simulator time, that's all training hours and flying hours, and to when you start taking your formal classes and stuff, some of that fills the logbook and starts your training towards your completion there. So.
Yeah, as a matter of fact. Kind of jumping ahead of ourselves, but anyway, one of the things that we do when they leave, we give them a list of. They've already, seen a bunch of videos. And we give them a list of those same videos highlighted or bolded, but a list of additional videos they may want to watch as far as careers go.
Okay.
And then if they're really interested in being a pilot or flying, we give them a list of about, I think it's almost 30. YouTube videos that run about 12 hours long that are really totally professional pilot training.
Okay.
I mean, it goes into, like there's an hour spent on weather.
Oh, wow.
An hour spent on instruments. It's just in 3 20-minute videos. But that's for people that are, you watch this 12 hours of stuff and you can walk into an initial class on flying and you're going to be pretty far ahead of everybody else as far as the lingo and all the stuff that you need to know.
You kind of set yourself up nicely to succeed there.
And people are wondering, when are you open? Well, that's a good question, because we're only open when I'm out there or Bob Donnell, or maybe one other volunteer. But we're looking for more people to join our group because right now we don't have any money. So we're just out there. And it's actually a nice thing to get out for me for a couple hours or maybe 3 hours a day.
Sure.
And what we do is and if you're out there and you want to see, well, when are you open? Well, we're open when about 2 hours prior to any midday departures.
Okay.
And you say, okay, well, when is there's a midday departure? Well, sometimes they cancel and sometimes they don't.
Depending on the flight
So
schedule.
all you have to do is go to AA.com, which is AmericanAirlines.com, and the thing that pops up and it says flight status. You click on that, and then it says from. Well, where are you leaving from? Well, you put in Roswell. As you start to put Roswell, it'll come up the ROW, which is a skill, or you can just put in Roswell. And then to, where you're flying to, just probably the best one is put Dallas-Fort Worth, DFW, or just put Dallas, and it'll pop up as DFW. And also the other potential would be Phoenix in the future. But then it'll show you, okay, this is, you look down and you see something leaving like at 11:16 or maybe at 1:20 something. You can then check status, and it'll say on schedule, or it'll say canceled.
Gotcha.
And then, I'm sorry, that's kind of complicated, but anyway, that's the way you for sure know that we're open. And luckily, we're open kind of during the midday, and we do have people coming in that are just driving through town and want to come out to the museum. And I'm thinking, thank goodness we were open for them.
Sure.
I feel bad because I know some of them probably come late in the afternoon and we're not open. But we just don't have the people. And
of course, if you're there, come and you can have lunch or
there's the little cafeteria's open.
Yeah, so if you get there and things aren't quite open yet, just sit down, have a meal, and relax. And then when it pops open, come on in. So
yeah. So that's kind of why we're looking for more volunteers or people to join our board of directors, so that you have, maybe come out once a week for a couple hours. That's actually kind of fun because you meet nice folks and from all over, wherever.
Sure.
Yeah.
I imagine you guys get, you probably come across, because I'm guessing once in a while you get people that come in, they're not from here, and then they kind of walk through it before they kind of leave the airport or go about things that they're doing too.
Right,
So I imagine you get people from all over the country that pop in and sign into.
Yeah, we
books
do
and everything.
actually. All the way from there was a family came in real nice, and I said, "Well, where are you guys from?" "We're from Mexico." I go, "Monterey." What? I said, "That's cool, great." So they were headed for Orlando, Florida, via Dallas, Fort Worth.
Okay.
But you have a lot of folks that are, involved with different businesses in town or just passing through and have background, or they come in and say, well, my dad was this or that. Matter of fact, recently we just flew a flag, which is Juliana Halverson came out and took some pictures. And
we shared it on the Facebook there.
Yeah. Okay. So Clifford Ray Thrasher was assigned to the 686 radar group, and that's on page 8 of Wikipedia under Walker Air Force. You look up Walker Air Force Base. And it's about 10 pages of stuff, but on page 8, about half of the page deals with the 686 radar group. But anyway, he was out here, and his wife, he passed away, but his wife and his son really would like to fly a flag. They put a flag out here, and we flew the flag for them and then shipped it back to them.
Oh, nice.
And then we have another gentleman that's sending us a flag, and I'm thinking, well, this could get out of hand. But
it's a cool thing.
Yeah, it's a cool thing. We put the flag up, and then we took a few pictures, and so that
hopefully some of those families come out here and visit.
Yeah, he plans on coming out eventually.
Good.
Yeah, he's from Tennessee.
Okay.
So there you go. So,
and his father was stationed here?
Yeah, he's stationed at the 686 radar group.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So
I mean, because you think of so many men and women that came through here, either working the base or as a trainee.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's probably thousands and thousands of people that connect to Roswell Armory Airfield, Walker Air Force Base here. Either coming through as a trainee or being stationed here in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. It's pretty cool. So
before we go much further, and sometimes I like to mention it first and last, but we already mentioned that Xcel Energy has helped us out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Roswell Toyota in the past, Pioneer Bank, Featherstone Development, Dr. Phil Cathy, Dr. Paul Engstrom, Lloyd Hughes, Glenn Furniture, giving us some furniture. Aerosol in the past have been a big supporter. So what we're going to do this year, since basically the only 2-3 people that aren't working full time that could work on the golf tournament are trying to man the museum.
I know you guys weren't going to do
so we decided that golf is not going to work for us right now. We're just going to maybe go out and try to get people, a group of folks or companies to provide some support. So on a monthly basis, we can keep our doors open, and we'll put up some nice signs that give them some good marketing. And we'd mention their names here in the radio, but also would have the signs when they come in that say, thanks to so-and-so, we're open, and then have another sign that says these are the people that have helped us in the past, so that they always have their name out there kind of where people can see.
Yeah, absolutely. And folks can donate if I know Robert mentioned the website earlier here, but if you go to www.wafbmuseum.org, you can go there, and there's a Donate Now button if you'd like to make a personal donation to the Walker Air Force Base Museum. That's a great way to contribute there. Another quick, easy way, if you want to help out, is the Walker Aviation Museum participates in the Amazon Smiles program, and you'll find the link there on the website once again. Basically, if you go through that portal, when you go shop for your Amazon stuff, every time you go through that portal, and buy things through Amazon, a percentage of the amount of money that you spent they'll pay to the Walker Aviation Museum. It doesn't cost you any extra. It's the same price you would have bought your whatever you buy on Amazon with, but going through that portal, now Amazon says, oh, you spent $100, we'll give a couple pennies off of that to the Walker Aviation Museum, and you get enough people that do that. Next thing you know, you guys get a nice little check each month from Amazon just for people shopping through there. So that's another little way you can help out too. But definitely, if you, in the meantime, you're saying, oh, well, I normally golf, but since we're not golfing this year, I'll just donate my fees for golf through the museum website. That'd be a great way to help out this year if you want to continue to do that. And say, oh, I always golf in that tournament because I love what they do. Well, maybe make a donation through the website instead of whatever the cost would have been for you to play in the tournament. Donate that, and that'd be a great help to the museum as well. So
yeah, we have a membership thing in the website, and I was kind of like wondering, okay, so you're a member. What does that do for you? Well, we don't charge anything to get in the museum, and a lot of people kind of hesitate to want to walk in like, can I come in? Do I need to owe you something? Come on in.
Sure.
Probably need to put a big sign in.
What's my commitment here if I walk through the Cross's threshold?
Yeah, and we've got now 2 touchscreen computers that are on, and you can walk in, and we have a nice sign that Southwest Printers put together for us that kind of describes what it is, and you touch the screen, and you get a 2-minute, pictures and a verbal history of the Atlas missile, and you touch the other screen, you get a 2-minute picture and verbal history of the Walker Air Force.
Cool.
Base, so that's one thing. And then the big computer screen that we have that we show the kids on different careers I'll talk about in a second, that's always running and either talking about the history of the B-52, B-36, B-29, and some other things that have some really interesting stuff in it. And we have a bunch of chairs there, so if you're sitting there waiting for your airline and you want to wait to go check in your baggage rather than just sitting out, say, in the restaurant area, you could come on in and just sit there and watch a bit of the video. And if you had something particular you wanted to watch, you could come up and say, you got anything on this and whatever, and I'll just go up there on YouTube. We got a whole list of aircraft stuff, and we just click on there and you could watch that.
So yeah, there's a whole library of things that you want to check out. Very cool.
So can I run through a quick scenario?
Absolutely.
Okay, so all you folks out there, all you kids, if you're 13 to 18, I want you to listen carefully and go talk to your teacher, your mother, or your father, or your church member, or your Girl Scout, Boy Scout leader, and tell them, hey, let's go out to the Walker Museum.
Okay.
And that's what we're going to do. Okay. So kids, we try to get groups of 8 to 12 for 2 hours. Okay. And that's because we divide them up, and we only have 2 flight simulators. So if you end up with 30 people out there, it's just, you can't, it doesn't work.
A lot of standing around and waiting.
Yeah. And it can't. So you walk in, we give you a short history of the Walker and the Atlas missile with those touch screens, and also some other quick history of the Walker Museum. And then we give them about a 10-minute 9-10 minute video briefing on the flight simulator and how it works. It's from Jay Liboff. He's out in California. He's a designer of the system. And these things can fly, well, they're going to fly a 172, but it'll fly about 50 different aircraft and land at any place you want to in the world. So you get a pilot that walks in and he says, oh, okay. I said, we have 172 there, and you can see that. And I said, well, you could also select F-22 Raptor and land at Istanbul, Turkey at 9 o'clock at night, So you select the time, you can select the location, and it's a Lockheed software that's really accurate worldwide as far as different things. Okay, so then after the 10-minute video, students break into two groups, and 4 to 6 students proceed to the 2 flight simulators where a couple of our staff will guide them through the aircraft taxiing, maybe aircraft takeoff and a flight, some type of flight scenario. And this lasts for about 40 minutes. So that's why we go with 8 to 12, because then you have 2 on each simulator or 3.
Okay.
For 40 minutes. So if you end up too many people, you just don't have enough time on there. Then the other second group of 4 to 6 students are seated in front of a large computer screen and are given 3 to 7-minute minute videos. So we have 11 videos that we show them. The first one is on developing a Venn diagram. It's called No Regrets on How to Choose a College Major. So you get a middle school student in, and that way it gives them some ideas of what he may want to focus on a little bit as he gets in high school, or if he's a high schooler getting ready to go to college, kind of talks about, what you're good at and what people will pay you for and what you're passionate about.
Okay.
And then the middle there is that what your good career would be.
Okay.
If you're passionate about that. Then the next would be science, technology, and math, a STEM overview video. And then we have careers in aviation video. Eastern New Mexico Roswell Aviation Maintenance Technician Program. We got that video from them, from Eastern New Mexico University Roswell. A day in the life of a wind turbine engineer. People always like that one. Crumlin Auto Group and Eastern New Mexico University Roswell Auto Mechanic Program. We got a nice little video from them.
Okay.
Energy Careers, Energy Cluster, and another one is Oil Well Workers Career Video. What does a registered nurse do? And then another one's architectural engineering versus architecture. What's the difference? And then, so you want to be a physician assistant. So anyway, those are just 10 little shotgun things of different things they look at, and they're all, done differently, but 3 to 7 minutes long. And by that time, they get through with that, then they go over and fly the flight simulators. Okay. Or the group that was flying the flight simulators come back and do that. So basically, cool. That's what we do.
And I imagine, too, if parents and stuff want to check out some of these videos as well, just give them a call, come on by and say, hey, I'd love to see some of this.
And a side note to that, when they leave, we give them that list of the videos that they watch or could watch, and then we give them a list of STEM careers that they can go home and look those names up on YouTube.
Sure.
And then if you're interested in aviation, we give them that list of 30 or so professional classes that they can find on YouTube.
So if they want to pursue their own training and formal education on this, here's the path to do that.
Yeah. So
very
basically, again, if you want to get a hold of me and try to set up a class, 575-420-3789.
Very good.
And then text me. Don't try to call me. Just text me, and I'll get back to you, and we'll set up something with your school group. And who do we do with? We're coordinating already with Roswell Independent School District. Ruben Bolaños, you know him?
I sure
do. Great guy. STEM.
Absolutely.
He's the STEM coordinator. Sidney Gutierrez Charter School. We've gone to Gateway School, All Saints Catholic School, the Stearns Home, Civil Air Patrol, working with Experimental Aircraft Association, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, New Mexico Youth Challenge. Definitely, that's a good group. We're going to try to hopefully get in there. Local churches and their youth groups, the Eastern New Mexico University Roswell STEM Department, and also nearby towns. If you're in Dexter, Hagerman, Artesia, give us a call, and we'll set up something for you guys.
Very good. Excellent. So definitely come check it out. Of course, go to the website, wafbmuseum.org.
There you go.
You could do a little research there about the museum. Like we said, if you'd like to serve and volunteer, always looking for volunteers to serve as docents, to serve on the board.
Boy, is that the truth. We're really looking for people.
If you would love to, like I said, it's kind of a couple-man show right now. So if you'd like to help Bob and Robert here and the rest of the folks do more stuff and serve on the board, or hey, you're kind of like, you know what, I'm retired. I'd love to I'd love to spend a few hours keeping the museum open during the days for folks to come by and stuff. I'd love to have you do that. If you're interested in looking for something like that, reach out. It kind of pre-COVID, we had some great folks that were doing that and stuff, and then unfortunately life happens and they moved away and things. So some of your stalwart volunteers no longer live in the area here. But so if there's folks listening, would love, maybe you're retired or maybe independently wealthy and you get whatever it is, but you got time during the day and you're like, you know what, I'd love to do this and you love history or maybe you got family that has a connection to walk or whatever it is, but we'd love to have you be a part of it.
Yeah, and we got some STEM items. I'd like to get more, but we have a bicycle that Ron Lynch put together for us. XL Energy purchased the bike, but bicycle that generates electricity. You get on it and you crank it away. It makes a lot of noise, but it lights up the light and the fan comes on. And then next to that, we got a Jacob's ladder, which you push the switch down and a 10,000 volt generator. The lightning goes up these two bars.
Yeah, it's different from the movie from the 80s or whatever that was.
Old aircraft navigation items, slide rule, parachutes, and stuff like that. Professional weather instruments that Steve Griffith gave us. He was a U.S. Navy weather specialist for many years. So we got that up. And so anyway, that's kind of what we're doing.
Good deal.
What are we doing for time? Do we need...
We got a couple minutes here if you've got some more stuff.
Couple minutes?
Yeah.
Kind of run through some history, and then we can say, okay, stop.
Yeah, we got about 5 minutes worth of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
For those out there that not too familiar with exactly what was going on in Roswell, war was looming in Europe, and the United States decided to train 30,000 more pilots. Then attack on Pearl Harbor, December 7, 1941. Roswell was selected as one of the new pilot training bases in 1941. A $9 million construction started in February of 42 on 4,624 acres provided by David Chester, a local rancher. And the first class of 146 students at Roswell Army Airfield on June 1st, 1942 was a flight training base. That was at the end of the war, World War II, there was a total of 7 two-engine flying training squadrons and 5 bombardier training squadrons and 1 specialized B-29 squadron. And a total of 14,000 students graduated from Roswell Army Airfield between 1942 and 1945.
Wow.
So there was a lot of stuff. That's why a lot of these ranches have these big old heavy concrete bombs laying out there where they practice bombing.
Yeah,
and
those
stuff.
all old ranges.
Because you had, 5 squadrons of bombardier training going on.
Yeah. Even to this day, New Mexico has quite a bit of land that's reserved for bomb ranges. That's that supported, Holloman, of course, our Air Force bases, but I'm sure there's other military craft in neighboring states that fly over and use them for practice as well, too.
Yeah.
So.
At peak strength in World War II, the Roswell Army Airfield had about 8,616 personnel assigned. September 1942 through April 43 had 1,000 glider pilots served as a glider replacement pool for the Roswell. Were trained here. We had 42 Chinese students came in to fly and train on the B-25.
Interesting.
In August 6, 1945, the 509th Composite Group B-29 Enola Gay, dropped the bomb on Hiroshima, and he returned to Roswell.
Now that aircraft sits in the Air and Space Museum Annex in D.C. or Virginia, actually.
And then on April 9th, the 509th Composite Group B-29 boxcar, piloted by Major Charles Sweeney, dropped the plutonium bomb on Nagasaki, which was actually a backup target for Kokura, which was a primary target. And there was kind of some mix up on that because the Great Artiste was supposed to drop the bomb, but they moved it up real quick. So
they moved crews, right?
They just moved the crew.
Yeah.
They just moved the.
So the crew was from the Great Artiste.
Great Artiste crew flew boxcar, and the boxcar flew Great Artiste, which was kind of like a photo, documentary aircraft dropping that bomb.
That's all right. I'm sure some of the boxcar crew told the ladies they were on the other plane.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
So then all that, we moved to Roswell. And then Strategic Air Command was activated as a retaliatory bombardment organization in the Air Force in 1946. But right at around 46, Roswell was primary and about the only atomic capable, bomber base initially. And then it spread out.
Sure. As the Cold War advanced.
In summer '46, the Roswell Army Airfield participated in a lot of atomic test missions in the Marshall Islands. I've talked about that in past programs. Then you had the UFO incident occurred in July '47. Anyway, U.S. Army Air Corps became United States Air Force in September of 1947. And General Walker was a native of northern New Mexico, and he was killed in a B-17 named San Antonio Rose during a bombing mission over Papua New Guinea on February 5th, 1943, which is just about a month before I was born. And he was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor by Franklin D. Roosevelt. But one of the major things that sometimes get passed up on what he did, he was one of 4 officers that devised the Air War Plans Division-1, a blueprint for imminent strategic air war against Germany in World War II.
So he was one of the masterminds to the air campaign on the German theater.
Yeah. And he wasn't supposed to be flying because MacArthur told him, no, you stay back,
Well,
but he was the kind of a guy, I'm going to be flying with my guys if they're on these bombing missions.
Yeah, brigadier generals aren't supposed to be leading missions on aircraft. They're supposed to be in the base, calling shots from the command post there.
Yeah, but he said, no, I'm not a sit back guy. I'm going to get up there and do it.
Yeah, they send the lieutenants and captains up in the planes.
Yeah. And during the Cuban Missile Crisis of October 16th to 28th, 1962, all of the Atlas missiles were up and operational, and besides being an atomic base. So this was kind of a primary target and for the bad guys, because we had, all kinds of weapons around Roswell, plus the bomber base here.
Yeah.
And that's when quite a few people in town, there's some history stuff on that. I could go in later, built some little, and they built Goddard as a bomb underground thing because of potential. But then about that time, the base closed by the time they were building that simultaneously. So,
well, even those
people say, well, why in the heck is Goddard underground? Well, if you had been there at the time, you'd understand.
Well, in my high school in Maryland was one of those schools the same way. So half of our school was a basement underground, and it was a fallout shelter.
Yeah.
So for that very same reason, it's that was you see that smattered all over the country. Any 50s, 60s era schools and things that are still around today, that's not uncommon.
And then, of course, in '65, the Atlas was closed. That's because there's a liquid fuel. They actually had 3 missiles blow up during a refueling, and no one was killed, luckily, and no weapons were on them at the time.
Fortunately, they're well designed so that the fuel part, when it goes up, is designed not to cook off the nuke part.
Right.
That's by design, so it's a fail-safe.
And by that time, they were getting the solid fuel rockets like the Minuteman missiles and stuff, so they shut that down, and that was all those missile stuff was moved further north. And so anyway, that's kind of quick summary. There's more stuff that you can hear if you come out to the base.
Yeah, absolutely. Please come see the museum here. The roles that this community served during World War II and the Cold War era are very significant and pretty interesting. And a trip out to the museum, learning about some of this stuff, seeing some of the history, some of the people that called this place home during that time, and then like Robert mentioned earlier, for the youth and things, this STEM side, getting kids into science, math, engineering, and things. Maybe a few pilots even out of this stuff. But we want to definitely encourage kids to come out, encourage families to come and see this stuff and understand the history that's right here in your own backyard too. That's something.
Yeah, because I was hearing, and this may not be accurate, but someone was saying that if you look at all the aircraft mechanics scattered around the United States, like the average age is 58 years old.
Oh, wow.
And but there's a whole bunch of aircraft mechanics that are going to be retiring here in the next few years, and there's all kinds of good, high-paying jobs available if you get trained for that.
I got a funny feeling a majority of those people come from military backgrounds, too. Because, you can go.
Yeah, because you already had been doing that, and you just go into.
You join the military and you go in as a crew chief or something. They kind of give you all that training, and then you get out and you basically take a test for your civilian license version, and you're off. The oyster's your world with some of these career opportunities and things. So.
Yeah, Bob Donnell, he was 6 years in the Army. His dad was a B-29 pilot in World War II, and he was flying out of Walker at one time. My dad was a B-29 crew chief during World War II. That's why I was born in Kansas.
Okay.
So I always kind of laugh at people say, "Were you born in Roswell?" I said, "No, I was conceived in Roswell, but I was born in Kansas because my dad was fighting the war in South Pacific." But anyway, that's a kind of background that. And I was in the Air Force 30 years, but then came back to Roswell because that's kind of where I grew up. And anyway, there you go.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Appreciate it as always. WAFBmuseum.org is the website to learn more. And like I said, AA.com if you want to see the flight schedule and find out what times, like I said, the museum's open around the flight schedule there when the flight's open.
And be sure to go vote.
That's right. Today is that day. There you go. Vote. Go to one of the 6 locations and vote. Well, thank you, sir. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike.
Anytime. It is 7:54. Let's go ahead and get you into a local news update. Your Chaves County Sports Report. Quick break. Don't go away.
Now for a Pecos Valley news update, I'm Jared Sorello. A reminder that the Artesia Police Records Division is closed today for in-service training all day. The Artesia Police Records Division will reopen Wednesday morning. And another reminder that today is Election Day for municipal elections in Artesia. If you did not vote early, you can vote until 7 p.m. today at Faith Baptist Church, 402 South 20th Street, or the Artesia Senior Center, located at 202 West Chisholm. The Roswell Police Department will be swearing in a young honorary member Friday as part of a fun-filled day in Roswell for the special visitor. 10-year-old DJ Daniel is from Houston. He's battling a diagnosis of terminal cancer. DJ's dream is to one day become a police officer. With the help of his parents and a number of law enforcement agencies in several states, he's doing just that the best way he can, many times over. To learn more about DJ, you can visit his GoFundMe page online, which was created to help the family with medical and travel expenses. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure is parked over southern Colorado, and that'll be bringing us fair weather today across eastern New Mexico, around 70 on our afternoon high, and we should get plenty of sunshine. Overnight, a few clouds will drop into the low and mid-30s. We're looking at about 75 again for the high on Wednesday, and sunny, a mix of sun and clouds, and mid-70s on Thursday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
It's time for the Chaves County Sports Report. We told you about the big schools at the upcoming state basketball tournament yesterday. How about the small schools? How about the Gateway Christian Warriors in Class 1A girls? They are 17-2 overall and have drawn the 5th seed. They will host Alamo Navajo, the 12th seed, coming up this Friday. Also in girls hoops, it'll be Dexter at 15-6 playing at the 7th seed, playing host to number 10 Hatch Valley. Dexter lost to Tucumcari in the district championship, but still got that 7th seed. That's important. In boys, it's Hagerman, the 7th seed in Class 2A. They'll be hosting number 10 Texaco coming up on Saturday. Number 15 Dexter will be at Robertson. Dexter will be playing that game on Saturday as well. Robertson's the 2nd seed. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell Talk FM 106.5.
Honey, did you see the story in the Roswell paper recently about how Dennis Kintai and the city council want to spend $61 million on new baseball fields?
Yep, talk about out-of-control spending.
Yeah, they say it's a field of dreams, more like field of debt.
Definitely. Kintai and the council don't have their priorities straight. Remember, they wanted to spend $35 million on a new public safety complex. Thank goodness over 80% of voters rejected that boondoggle.
And meanwhile, crime has gone up drastically over Kintai's last 4 years in charge.
Yeah, and Roswell's roads are a mess. Have you seen the sorry state that streets like North Garden are in? Potholes everywhere.
That's why we need Tim Jennings for mayor. Tim will control spending, hire more police officers, and fix our roads.
Let's send a message to City Hall that Roswell can't afford to spend $61 million on building new baseball fields. Vote Tim Jennings for mayor.
Paid for by Tim Jennings for mayor.
Pecans are a big deal here in Chaves County. We have some of the biggest orchards in the country, and lots of us have pecan trees in our yards. Hi, this is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company. Whether you have one pecan tree or 1,000 of them, this time of year, every pecan tree needs fertilizing. So come see us at Roswell Seed Company, and we'll get you fixed up with the right fertilizer for your pecan trees. So that next year, your nuts will be big and beautiful. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Hi, Roswell. I'm Guy Malone, candidate for mayor. Welcome to my non-mudslinging political campaign ad. I want you to visit roswellguy.com to find out about all the good reasons you have to actually vote for someone, not vote against someone. Refreshing idea, hey? Well, I've got lots more where that came from. You know and I know that Roswell is destined for same stuff, different year if we don't vote for positive changes that bring Roswell's politics and economy into the 21st century. Malone for mayor, roswellguy.com.
Paid for by Guy Malone for Roswell.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The first toilet being flushed in a motion picture was in the movie Psycho. Mike thought it was Gone with the Wind. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is closing in on 8 o'clock. Town Hall News coming up here in just a few minutes. Don't go away. Join us next hour, about 8:15 or so. We're going to have some of our state representatives join us, recapping the legislative session that wrapped up last week. I know we'll have Representative Greg Nybert and Representative Candy Spence-Ezell join us. Maybe another or two, but I think it's just going to be those two. They'll join us next hour, and we'll chit-chat. Well, that's a new little music thing. I don't know where that came from. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Steadfast in defense of his homeland. Ukrainian President Zelensky addressing the European Parliament, accusing Russia's Vladimir Putin of war crimes. Zelensky tells European lawmakers that Ukraine is now fighting for its survival as Russia's military reduces parts of cities to rubble, killing many civilians. Pleading with the EU to prove that you are with us, Zelensky received a standing ovation from members of the European Parliament. And now the threat to Kiev is intensifying. The BBC's James Waterhouse in the Ukrainian capital.
We wake up this morning to these worrying images, this estimated 40-mile-long Russian convoy moving in. Now, as far as Western officials are concerned, the advance here on the city has been slowed, partly because of the surprising level of Ukrainian resistance. Moscow has been caught out, they say, by Ukrainians' willingness to fight, as well as how well supplied they are. So all of this help from Western allies that we've heard about in the recent weeks and months seems to be paying off to an extent.
Russian shelling has pounded civilian and government targets in Ukraine's second largest city. Ukrainian authorities report at least 70 Ukrainian soldiers killed. It's against this backdrop that President Biden tonight delivers his State of the Union address.
National security is always featured in State of the Union speeches, but given Russia's invasion of Ukraine, White House spokesman Jen Psaki said tonight's address will have more of it than usual.
The president will lay out the efforts he has led on to rally the world to stand up for democracy and against Russian aggression.
She said the president would also highlight America's military and economic assistance to Ukraine. Greg Clugston, the White House.
On Wall Street, the Dow down 83 points, the NASDAQ 2 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
I have 2 dogs, Sam and Bailey. Both are golden retrievers. Poor Sam, he was a mess. Always itching. His paws were soaking wet all day from just constant licking. He had bald spots on his back. I just don't like putting shots and steroids into your dog all the time. DINOVITE.com. Dynovite is nutrition. Probably 2 weeks after he started Dynovite, I started seeing great improvements. And today, 99% of his issues are non-existent. It's amazing stuff. Since Bailey has been 12 weeks old, he's been a Dynovite dog, and he has 0 issues today. He won't eat his food without Dynovite. When I get out the Dynovite, my dogs actually salivate, like I'm getting them a treat. They drool over it. Dynovite is the best thing you can do for your dog.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
I get my Dynovite from DINOVITE.com.
Russia's invasion of Ukraine forcing big tech companies to decide how to handle Russian state media, spread propaganda and misinformation.
Officials in the European Union say they're moving to ban the outlets. Meanwhile, Google announced that it's blocking the YouTube channels of Russian state media in Europe. Other U.S.-owned tech companies have offered more modest changes so far, limiting the Kremlin's reach, labeling more of its content, and prohibiting Russian state media from making money off ads.
Correspondent Jeremy House. A delegation of former U.S. defense officials has arrived on Taiwan in a sign of stepped-up communication between the sides amid a looming threat from China. Former Joint Chiefs Chairman Mike Mullen leading the 5-person delegation that will meet with the Taiwanese president and other top officials during the 2-day visit. They were greeted at Taipei's airport by the Taiwan Minister of Foreign Affairs. Townhall.com. Major League Baseball extends its deadline for salvaging opening day in a 162-game season. The new deadline, 5 p.m. today.
Progress was made during yesterday's marathon bargaining sessions between MLB and the Players Association, which lasted until 2:30 this morning. But they still remain far apart when it comes to dollar amounts, including the luxury tax, bonus pool for pre-arbitration players, and how much to raise the minimum salary. The sides did agree to expand the postseason from 10 to 12 teams rather than the 14 MLB had hoped for. Not since the end of August 2002 has baseball come this close to losing regular season games to labor strife. I'm Julie Walker.
Production will resume tomorrow at all of Toyota's 14 plants in Japan after they were idled for a day due to a cyber attack on a domestic supplier. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
The deuce.
There it is. Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy election day, everybody.
That's right.
Today is that Dia de Elección. Your municipal election is happening today.
Let's go with Dia de Elección. I like that. Not the other one that I was thinking. That everybody always thinks. Not as big of an Asian population around these parts.
No. Not going to do it.
No.
Let me prudent.
And be prudent.
No.
1,000 points of light. Stay the course.
But happy election day, everybody.
Yes. Get out there and vote.
If you have not early voted or absentee voted, then today's the day you vote.
Today's probably not a good day to vote absentee. You should probably know what you're voting. Where about your
little late to be
vote.
doing that. Yeah, that wrapped up on the 25th of February.
Now, if you want to vote absent-minded, that's not suggested either.
Stay home.
Yeah.
You just watch TV.
Yeah, enjoy. There's lots of good stuff on.
Maybe find a good game to play on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Just celebrate life that way.
You can actually just go find yourself unlimited Wordle. You can just play Wordle all day. You can do unlimited words. It's fine.
I'm finding more and more people not doing work and just proudly peacocking their Wordle scores on Facebook.
Yeah.
Like, even like people that I kind of like, really?
Yeah.
You're doing it now?
Really?
Then you look down and you start seeing green and black boxes, and they're like, all right. I have no idea what any of that means, by the way.
You got to try it, man.
I've never played.
It's fun.
So.
It's fun, and it's a good... Here's the thing. With the official Wordle, there's only one word a day. You only get to play once a day, which kind of is nice because you can kind of pick your spot. You're like, okay, this is my Wordle break.
Okay.
Because you can only play the one, unless you find there's unlimited Wordle you can find online. But the official game, one word a day.
Can you pay $5 to do another Wordle?
Probably.
You know how that.
I'm sure you'll have New York time zones, and I'm sure they're going to do something along those lines.
Or you get a cheating Wordle app.
Yeah. You get get one extra letter or something like that. You earn a letter. I don't know, but It's fun to kind of just like play around and expand the mind a little bit. And then once you know, to watch other people play, because I found out it's the same word. So when you watch other people play and you're like, because you know what it is, and you like don't want to give any hints, but at the same time you're just kind of like trying to lead them sort of in the direction. The suggestion that I always go with is find a word that is vowel heavy first, to kind of get the vowels out of the way, to see just if those are anywhere in there.
Okay.
The way the game works, you put down a 5-letter.
I didn't know we were going to do a dissertation.
Well, we started this. You told me you didn't know how it works. You start out with a 5-letter word. Any word. It could be any 5-letter word.
Uh-huh.
And it's going to tell you if any of those letters are in that word.
Okay.
If it's yellow, they're in that word somewhere else.
Okay.
If it's green, you got the letter in the right spot. So through the powers of deduction, you have to figure out through your 6 steps what that word is.
Okay.
The flex is how few steps it takes you to get there. That's why when you see like 1, 2 yellow, then like 2 green, and then like they got it in the 4th try, that's a good flex.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it.
You'll take my wordle for it.
I got a feeling if I decide to venture in this, I'm probably going to be really awesome at it.
Just hang on. I'm just going to pat myself right here.
Not to toot my own horn, but toot. I'm pretty good.
You're a bit of a wordsmith.
I'm pretty good at word games. I play a game called Text Twist, pretty regular, and I think that would be good training for games like Wordle.
Then step up, sir, because I will tell you that herein lies the challenge. Because you start going through your library of words, and you start thinking, okay, well, it could be this, but it doesn't have that letter, because this letter's already, like, once you've used a letter and it's not in the word, it cancels that letter out. So you only have the letters on the keyboard that correspond with the correct letters. But you have to figure out it's a hard, like, I'm a wordsmith myself. I pride myself. I'm a descendant of Chaucer, come to find out. So I pride myself on my wordsmithery, my ability to spin a yarn.
Okay.
And I still struggle. There's still days I'm like, oh, what could it be? The other day it was, and out of like nowhere it was ultra. Like, I never would have come up with ultra. I kept putting the U in the wrong spot, thinking it was it's very frustrating.
All right.
Give it a shot.
No.
No. Well, okay, Mr. Talk a Big Game. You're going to sit over here and say, I would be amazing at it. Then go ahead. Put your money where your mouth is.
I'd be amazing at a lot of things. I mean, I want to do them.
It's free. Put your literal lack of money where your mouth is.
It's not about spending money. I just don't want to invest any kind of time into something like that. I don't want to.
I don't know why I feel slighted at that, but I do.
I just don't. And part of me is, and I'm one of those people, I'm not going to lie, I'm that hipstery, everybody's doing it,
I don't want to do
out.
it. Okay,
I'm
fair
out.
enough.
I mean, that's...
So you're going to wait 2 months until it's not cool anymore.
I've always got a hint of that.
I'll give you a little quick tip inside of that game has sort of already jumped the shark a bit. When people around these parts start posting Wordle scores, people are kind of over it.
When guys in their 50s start doing it, and you're like, yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, people still play every now and again, but the trend itself has passed. It doesn't mean it's not a fun game. It's just the trend has passed.
When's the Baby Yoda one stopping? I'm about done with that.
No, they reignited that flame.
Oh, I'm done with that.
They reignited that flame. They said, we don't have enough cuteness in season 1 of Book of Boba Fett. So
I'm waiting for, like, Ukraine war footage, and they just crowbar Baby Yoda in it now. That's how bad it is. Because every Baby Yoda meme I've seen has nothing actually to do with Baby Yoda. They just talk about life and then put a Baby Yoda in.
Oh yeah, no, it's become the new Minions for the Karens amongst us to post up. But you look at the Minion memes; they have nothing at all to do with Minions at all. It's usually just some snippety quote from some chick with attitude, whatever. But that's become Baby Yoda quotes have become the new memes or the new Minions. Now
we're all waterheads.
What's really funny is how hard they wanted little Stay Puft Men to be a thing.
It didn't kind of catch on, did it?
And it never caught on. They wanted so bad
Who
to get a little of that Baby Yoda shine.
Baby Yoda and Stay Puft Marshmallow Baby.
Oh, Baby Yoda, because Baby Yoda's got the Force.
This is true, or Force-like.
Well, Force adjacent.
It's not harnessed.
Not quite.
Yeah.
We'll call it Force adjacent.
All right, we should probably do some real information. Don't forget, today is Election Day. You can vote between now and 7 p.m. at any one of these 6 locations. They are the Boys and Girls Club of Chaves County at 201 South Garden, St. Mary's Lutheran Church at 2911 North Main Street, Country Club Church of Christ at 700 West Country Club Road, Waymaker Church at 2020 South Sunset Avenue, the Chaves County Admin Building at 1 St. Mary's Place there at the south end of the building. And finally, on the Eastern New Mexico University Roswell campus, there in the Union Building at 48 University Boulevard. You can vote at any one of those 6 locations today between now and 7 p.m. if you are registered to vote and a resident of the city of Roswell, and you haven't early voted or absentee voted. All right, it is 8:14. We're going to get you up to date with the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure is parked over southern Colorado, and that'll be bringing us fair weather today across eastern New Mexico, around 70 on our afternoon high, and we should get plenty of sunshine. Overnight, a few clouds will drop into the low and mid-30s. We're looking at about 75 again for the high on Wednesday, and sunny, a mix of sun and clouds, and mid-70s on Thursday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 32 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 29%. Winds currently out of the north at 6 miles per hour. Actually, pretty nice day. Pretty nice week for the most part. Mostly cloudy today, gradually becoming sunny. I'd say full-on partly cloudy right now. Highs near 72 today with north winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy tonight with an overnight low of 33 degrees. South winds at around 5 miles per hour. Wednesday, sunny, 75. Winds light and variable out of the southeast, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Thursday, partly cloudy, highs near 75. South winds 5 to 10 in the morning, 10 to 15 for the afternoon. Then the real winds move in Friday, but warm temperatures, mostly sunny, highs of 82 on Friday. But they're saying will be breezy. Could see some good winds there. And then looking at your weekend, mostly sunny with a high of 74 for Saturday. Sunny, highs right around 70 on Sunday. So not too bad. And then they say next week, when we go back to work and school Monday, down in the low 60s, 62. So 70s for most this week, and then maybe a bit of a cool down for next. A little bit anyway. All right, it is 8:15. We're going to take about a 3-minute break here, and then we will have State Representatives Candy Spence-Ezell and Greg Nybert join us here on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Juliana Halverson is committed to Roswell. She wants to improve our public facilities while keeping our taxes down, attract more business to Roswell, and she wants our city to be safe. People say a lot of things to get elected. With over 35 years of community service, Juliana Halverson has the experience to get it done. Let's elect someone that has a proven commitment to our community. On March 1st, vote Juliana Halverson, City Council, Ward 2.
I'm Juliana Halverson, and I approve this message.
ENMU Roswell offers high school students the opportunity to get a head start on their college education journey into healthcare. Through the Allied Health Careers Pathway, high school learners can enroll in dual credit courses that introduce them to a wide range of careers that include emergency medical technician, paramedic, nursing, occupational therapy, respiratory therapy, medical assisting, phlebotomy, and nursing assistant. Start your healthcare career path at ENMU Roswell. Contact your high school counselor for more information.
Honey, did you see the story in the Roswell paper recently about how Dennis Kintai and the city council want to spend $61 million on new baseball fields?
Yep, talk about out-of-control spending.
Yeah, they say it's a field of dreams, more like field of debt.
Definitely. Kintai and the council don't have their priorities straight. Remember, they wanted to spend $35 million on a new public safety complex. Thank goodness over 80% of voters rejected that boondoggle.
And meanwhile, crime has gone up drastically over Kintai's last 4 years in charge.
Yeah, and Roswell's roads are a mess. Have you seen the sorry state that streets like North Garden are in? Potholes everywhere.
That's why we need Tim Jennings for mayor. Tim will control spending, hire more police officers, and fix our roads.
Let's send a message to City Hall that Roswell can't afford to spend $61 million on building new baseball fields. Vote Tim Jennings for mayor.
Paid for by Tim Jennings for mayor.
Pecans are a big deal here in Chaves County. We have some of the biggest orchards in the country, and lots of us have pecan trees in our yards. Hi, this is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company. Whether you have one pecan tree or 1,000 of them, this time of year, every pecan tree needs fertilizing. So come see us at Roswell Seed Company, and we'll get you fixed up with the right fertilizer for your pecan trees, so that next year, your nuts will be big and beautiful. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
I'm Alicia Gilmore, candidate for City Council Ward 4. I'm a proud citizen of Roswell, and I want to see our community grow. That starts with the focus on growing our economy, reducing crime, and focusing on infrastructure. Roswell is our home, and for too long, problems like crime, road conditions, and economic stagnancy have plagued Roswell's growth. I want to make it my focus to bring attention to these issues and to make Roswell a better place for all of our families. I'm Alicia Gilmore, asking for your vote for Ward 4 on March 1st, and I approve this message.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Elephants use these skin folds on their bodies to crush mosquitoes. Mike Winters uses his to hide M&Ms. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 19 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning. In studio, that's awesome. We usually get a chance to talk to them on the phone, but we get to see their smiling faces here this morning. We have State Representatives Candy Spence-Zell and Greg Nybert back with us. Good morning.
Good morning, Mike. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming in. Thanks for doing what you guys do. I say this every time. You guys really fight the good fight for us up there in Santa Fe, and I'm sure if anybody has experienced beating heads against brick walls, you two seem to be quite adept at that right now.
Well, we owe you a big apology because we were scheduled to be on your show on Thursday, which was the last day of the session.
But y'all guys were doing a marathon session.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. We started on Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock, and we rolled all the way through nonstop until Thursday at noon whenever we adjourned.
Wow.
So you actually could have tied in, and I was speaking on the House floor at 7 a.m. Thursday morning.
You should just put your phone on and set it on the banister that were on the podium there, and we would have just tuned in.
Yeah, that's right. You would have heard more about the election bill than you wanted to.
So, I mean, let's talk about that last session there. Was it just last-minute stuff they're trying to go, or was it that election bill that you guys were working on, or was it just trying to crowbar a bunch of last-minute stuff in?
Well, Thursday morning, we started off with a bunch of memorials, recognition stuff.
We did. We recognized Alonzo Baldonado for his service there whenever he announced that he was not going to seek re-election.
Okay.
There were several of those that came through, so it was just basically allowing certain people to make sure that they got into the chamber before we actually got started.
Gotcha.
So they recognized, I think there were 4 or 5 Democrats who will not be returning, and then some Republicans. So we spent Thursday morning, for a good chunk of Thursday morning and into the afternoon, just recognizing people.
Gotcha.
And it was actually, from our perspective, it was really good because it was taking time off the clock.
Sure.
So
you're like, hey, look, any more delays is better for us.
Exactly. Anything we can say good about all these folks, the better. So
maybe we have some crock pot recipes we share here.
Yeah. It went on for several hours, and then in the afternoon we were supposed to go to some committees, but that didn't happen. Judiciary didn't meet again. And so the committee process was all shut down. That afternoon, did we do any substantive bills?
There were a couple that came up. I just know that there was lots of questions regarding any bills that did come up on Wednesday afternoon. And then it was just keep rolling.
Sure.
And
just keep rolling.
Where it really started getting interesting was toward the late evening hours. I think about 10 or 11 o'clock, if I recall, they brought up the Clean Fuels Act.
Okay.
Now, that was the bill that would have the effect of increasing your gasoline, price of gasoline and diesel 26 to 52 cents a gallon.
And Russia and Biden are already doing a good job of that already.
Yes,
we don't need more help.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, it's in step without the Santa Fe having to do it. But that went on for 3 hours. That was a 3-hour debate, which is the maximum. And that took us into the wee hours of the morning. And ironically, that bill, when voted, came out 33 for, 33 against.
Wow.
It was tied.
It was that close.
Deadlocked, huh?
Deadlocked.
So it was a dead bill.
So it did not move.
And our concern,
which is a victory,
which is a huge victory.
Yeah.
And you know what? The representative that brought this bill up, Secretary Kinney, was sitting right behind him the whole time, and I'm just sitting there shaking my head. And the question was asked to the representative, is this going to increase? Who is this going to harm the most? And he said, nobody. It's not going to harm anybody. And it's like, wait just a minute.
What crack are you smoking?
Exactly. Do they not realize what it's going to do to the price of diesel? And diesel is what runs tractors, and tractors is what produces food.
We have a lot of farm roads because we have a lot of trucks that do farm work on them.
That's exactly right. And the price of gasoline, how are you going to get to work? Well, wait just a minute here, folks. Whenever the vote did take place, I was relieved because it was a tie vote. But our worry after that was, okay, somebody can bring it up again because we had not rolled the clock and say, I would like to reconsider my vote.
Gotcha.
And we were worried about that.
So everyone's holding their breath like, please shut up, please shut up, please shut up.
That's exactly right. Exactly right.
Well, and it kind of got crazy after that vote because I think they thought they had the votes to pass it.
Yeah.
And when it didn't pass, it kind of stunned them, the leadership on the Democrat side.
I'm curious. I want to, talking a little politics here. Is this an indicator of the talk? Because we've talked about, it's kind of several huge cracks in the Democrat Party right now in New Mexico. And is some of this stuff we're talking about some of the evidence of that and seeing some of the tea leaves of the ancillary results of the fracturing that's kind of going on that side of the fence?
If we saw that consistently with things, I would say yes.
Okay.
But we really didn't see
There's
a
no
consistent
pattern or rhyme. Okay.
Pattern of that. But what was interesting, and basically that bill was carried, the debate was carried by two representatives, Larry Scott from Lee County and Representative Townsend from Chavis and Eddy County. And those two held the floor for the entire 3 hours. Mm-hmm. And at the very end, this is just some of the political gamesmanship that goes on, but Representative Townsend put a call on the House, which meant everyone had to come into the chamber because people were sleeping in the lounge and elsewhere. Everybody had to come into the chamber, and after everybody came into the chamber, he then said, every one of us has to go home and face our constituents. We have to answer to them. We answer to the people that put us in this position to be their voice, and you are going to have to face them and tell them why the price of their gasoline has gone up 26 to 52 cents a gallon if you vote for this bill. And you could kind of see some of the representatives on the other side of the aisle. Finally, it starts registering what happened. And I think that Representative Townsend's statement kind of put a sense of reality into that bill.
Sure.
And when the vote was taken, it was 33 to 33. And I mean, you could have heard a pin drop.
Maybe we can get him to do that at the start of every session every day. Just come in and say, you're going to have to answer to the people that elected you here for every decision you make today. Think about that.
That's right.
But Mike, the thing that we like to point out, there are several Democrats that they like our cover that we give whenever they know it's going to be a hard bill whenever they go back home. But the Speaker of the House, who is not going to be there any longer, you know that.
Yes, he stepped down or retiring or whatever the term you want to call it.
But he has threatened his caucus members, if you don't vote the way we tell you to vote, we will make sure you're not reelected. Wait just a minute. If you cannot go up there and represent your constituents, why are you even up there?
Yeah.
It's not because of the pay, because we only get paid a per diem.
Yeah, and it's not because of the glory and the fame, is it either?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
You're right. And that's extortion, blackmail, whatever you want to call it. That's any other circle, that's exactly what that is.
But we could see his caucus kind of getting, I'm going to use the word blown up, okay, because there were some people that were adamantly opposed to a lot of these bills that were coming up. And they really didn't mind that we were, taking up time on the clock.
Sure, stalling the,
Because it saved them from having to make these hard decisions.
That's the easy way out for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you guys are like, I don't care if it's easy or hard for you, I just don't want it happening.
That's right. and that voting bill was one of those bills.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that, maybe these are a shift in ideology a little bit. Maybe they're starting to slowly get. I've said this to you guys 100 times. Get us back to middle at least.
Yeah, the pendulum.
Exactly. Exactly.
Pendulum's always swinging. But that took us till about 1:30 or 2 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a tie vote. Then chaos reigned for a little while. Then they brought up it was a bill that the House had sent over to the Senate, which was a crime bill, and it was a crime bill of maybe 4 or 5 pages. The bill that came back to the House was literally a 1/4 inch thick.
They padded that sucker up, didn't they?
My gosh.
It was an
my gosh.
omnibus crime package.
Yep.
Not just the bill that we sent over that dealt with one sliver of an issue, but it came back being the crime package bill, and it had all these provisions in it that were in pieces of other bills that we had seen, but the Senate packaged it all together, and so it was this massive bill, and it was coming over on concurrence. Usually, concurrence takes all of about 2 minutes.
This one.
The bill gets announced. The representative recommends that we concur with the Senate amendments, and then you vote aye or nay, and it's over.
Gotcha.
It's usually a voice vote. Well, this bill was so big. Ryan Lane from the Farmington area, Aztec, San Juan County, he took the floor at about 2 o'clock, maybe a little after 2, and he debated that bill till
5 o'clock.
Nice.
5 o'clock.
Wow.
So that concurrence bill took another 3 hours off the clock. What was interesting, Rod Montoya, the Republican whip, came up to me and he said, "Greg, go get some sleep." When Ryan started, he said, "Go get some sleep." And I
He's
said,
going to be there a while.
I said, "Why?" He said, "Because you're up next." And I said, "What do you mean I'm up next?"
You're part of the relay team here.
He said, "The voting bill's coming up next. You're on the voting bill." So I went up to somebody's office and slept on a couch for a few hours. And so Ryan took that bill to about 5 a.m. and that was voted on, and I think as a unanimous vote. We all voted for it, or it was substantially a unanimous vote.
But we had some questions that needed to be answered.
You
And Ryan
thoroughly investigated that bill and make sure it's what the people need.
And it was a much different bill than what we had sent over to the Senate.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those things did need to be fleshed out.
But this is the tactics. This is what you guys have to do to get good government done. And it's sad, but that's what it is,
Well,
you almost have to play these games to get what when you're in a battle, when you're outnumbered, then you got to use other tactics to do it. And this is what's going on.
Well, in our case, it was basically to keep other what we'd consider bad bills from being brought up.
Yeah, this is great work. It's addition by subtraction style thinking here.
Well, Mike, even though we may be outnumbered, we do have people. We do work across the aisle. Whenever there is something that is of importance to both sides, and a case in point here, I serve on the House Agriculture, Water, I can't even remember. They have changed the name so many times, but it boils down to the House Ag Committee, because it is important, folks. We do have to have food to eat.
Everybody
and we
likes
do
food.
have limited resources as far as our water goes. And there was a push out there by one of the representatives from the northern part of the state to change the qualifications of the state engineer's office. And they wanted it where an attorney could be the state engineer. Well, wouldn't you have to go back and statutorily change that title, the office of the state engineer, because an attorney not necessarily is an engineer?
Well, only if we can make engineers attorneys.
Exactly. I mean, the governor has appointed a new state engineer, and he is an engineer. But this would have allowed any attorney or anybody qualified to be the state engineer with no
experience
at all, or any
we got
training
enough of that
at all.
around
Exactly.
here. We need people that actually know what they're doing.
And come to find out, there was certain people up there in the legislature that wanted this position.
Oh.
So whenever I was visiting with some of the people that were currently working in the state engineer's office, I said, how come you're not applying? Well, you have to intern for 4 years under an engineer before you can meet those qualifications to become the state engineer, or working for a surveyor, because that does...
Sure. Actual experience doing these things.
Exactly.
Right. Yes.
You have to be an apprentice for 4 years before you do reach that level.
Weird that they want experienced people doing these things.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine that. So anyway, the first time the bill was brought up, the sponsor of the bill had an amendment. She presented that amendment the morning of the bill, and I said, no, sir, we cannot hear this. It has to be done 24 hours in advance for the public to receive notification.
Mm-hmm.
So we got that one stalled a while. Then we did some visiting with other people that were on the committee, and they could see the error of the ways of trying to get this done.
Sure.
So thank goodness that bill was stopped there in that committee.
Absolutely. I mean, it almost seems like you guys spend more time trying to get rid of the backdoor dealings than you actually get to doing legit bills, and you know what I mean?
And that's what a real bother to me.
Yeah.
Why are these back deals going on? We saw what happened with, I don't know, a certain representative that had embezzled all this money from the Albuquerque public school systems.
Yeah. Well,
and it was a backdoor deal that got it started.
I've been saying it. It's like, you guys want to know why New Mexico's last and everything, and why we've been consistently. Look at our history. Look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, go to Lincoln, New Mexico, and go read all the signs there in the courthouse and all that. This state's been screwed up long before it was a state. They were doing shenanigans back then. It just carried on over to modern times here, and it's the way of the world. And yeah, that's where you guys spend half your day, is just trying to cut through that garbage to kind of be transparent with something and be answer to the people instead of the people that are in the corners making money off everybody else.
And like you point out, Mike, a lot of our time spent trying to keep things from moving, because there were 505 bills introduced in this 30-day session, and I guarantee you there were not 505 good ideas out there. It's just different ways of picking. As I say, every law we pass is less liberty that you have.
Gotcha.
Every dollar we take out of your pocket is less liberty that you have, because you get to choose how you spend your dollar.
Absolutely.
But when we take it, when the state takes it from you, you don't have that choice anymore. Somebody else is making the decision how that dollar gets spent.
Well, and it goes on not even just personal level, but even in bigger levels, like the gross receipts and stuff. Basically, they're collecting it all and saying, we'll tell you what you get.
That's right.
And you're like, wait a minute. And well, you see municipalities raise all kinds of flags about that one. But
and brought a lawsuit.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff we're talking about. They time and time again, you fight one of those and get through it, but there's a list of 30 more right behind it that you got to equally do these same stupid, things that are common sense to most of us. Things you're like, well, of course you don't do it that way, because that's just, these folks like, no, it's the good old boy. We got it. That's how we do it. It's the way it
secret
works.
handshake
club. And next thing you know, people that, certain people start looking financially better or more powerful, and others are sitting on the sidelines wondering what happened. So that's kind of the world we live in New Mexico, and not just here, but other places too.
Well, and it's a real dichotomy between the metropolitan areas of the Rio Grande Valley and the rest of the state, rural New Mexico. And there's a big tug-of-war that goes on, because they think that to address the problems that they see in their community, they have to take these actions, and they don't realize how that impacts smaller communities and how that...
And one thing that was brought up during this session, and I want you to help me talk about this, Greg, is allowing certain people to come back to work. We have paid to train our safety officers, because the pay scale is so low for certain positions here they're going elsewhere after they're trained on New Mexico's dollar.
Absolutely.
So if we do have somebody that has retired, okay, they're going to have to their PERA account.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put it on hold. Let's allow them to come back to work for a certain amount of time, because that knowledge that they already have is crucial.
Absolutely.
Especially in our rural areas. But then also we've seen what's going on in Albuquerque.
Right.
It's the highest crime that there is one of the highest crimes rates in the nation.
Mm-hmm. And it's all these policies and everything has come out that are
right.
allowing this to really everyone turning their cheek or looking the other way on this.
And you know, the pay issue or bringing people back to work should be a good lesson to the state, because when I was on the county commission a decade ago, that was the issue that needed resolved, was the people double dipping. I think that was the term that was used.
That's
people
right.
were coming back to work and double dipping.
People are proud of doing it.
And so the reaction from the state level was, we're going to stop that.
Mm.
And what we did, and what we immediately saw at the county level, was we had all these retired deputies staffing the security at the courthouse. All of a sudden, because of the legislation, they had to get off the payroll, and because they were drawing their retirement, they couldn't afford to not have their retirement and then have their part-time security job. So they had to be let go, or they quit.
I mean, if they're working, what's the difference? You know, they did their 20 years or whatever, you know, as a retirement. Now they're saying, you know what? And that's not uncommon. How many retirees go and get another job after they retire? This one, they're using their experience. You pay them for it. Maybe, you know, that's. I mean, you can work out the semantics, but yeah, you don't want to just basically remove the entire workforce of a department because of double dipping. You know what I mean?
That's what's happened. We had Larry Barker investigate an abuse of the system that occurred in the Department of Transportation with a secretary who was retired on December 31st, and on January 2nd, she was hired to basically receive more money to do the same job and get both, and people thought that was a real problem. And so they looked into it. The state changed the rules, and then it affected every community, and then we couldn't hire retired deputies. It was felt first in law enforcement and then later in the teaching ranks. And the teaching ranks are what brought this issue to a head this year. We need more teachers in the classrooms. And
Especially
so
it was low before COVID.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. And whenever the governor sends a National Guard to help out at schools, wait, what?
That's a scary image, isn't it? Even if it's for good and everything, it's just an image that you're like, if we're letting this happen, what's next? You know what I mean? That's that. I mean, and I'm not saying the Guard, they probably did an amazing job.
They
did
probably
everything.
did.
But it's a precedent that makes people a little nervous. It just does, you know?
So
it's one step from what's next.
That's right.
You know.
Well, we did give the teachers a raise. You saw that. The governor.
And that was a good thing. That was something that was probably long overdue for our teachers.
Well, maybe even more importantly, we raised the minimum level of, I think level 1 is minimum 50,000, and then level 2
so
60.
an entry level teacher could actually
make
support themselves on that thing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they got not only pay raises, they also got this big, fairly substantial step increase. So we're happy to provide that, although our dollars tomorrow are going to be worth less than they are today. So,
Mike,
how good is that raise going to be?
Exactly right. And Mike, every time I would stand up to debate on the House floor or even in committee, it's like, folks, we have the ability to use this money, but we need to use it wisely.
Sure.
Why are we trying to spend it all at once? Because this year our budget was, hold on to your horses, folks, $8.3 billion was our budget this year.
Wow.
And it's due mainly to the oil and gas production and to agriculture.
Absolutely. That's the thing, everyone. And I get what you're saying. It's like, it's good this year.
That's right.
But next year, there's no guarantee. And when, I don't know the numbers, but I think it's roughly, 30%, it's probably more than that, of the total state income is oil and gas.
It's over that now.
That's a big number and a volatile number.
It is
to rely on budgets and things. You've got to, like you're saying, you got to say, all right, I understand we've got needs, let's take care of those needs, but let's not spend it all and create the bridges to nowhere just because we can. Let's put it back in the reserves or whatever we got to do, because next 60-day session, it may not be high on the hog here. It may be slim pickings, and we're going to need that money that we just wasted on pork products last time to do here. That's kind of where you're thinking.
Well, I also serve on House Appropriations, and we have to meet a full week. I mean, we meet all year long, okay? But prior to the session, we're up there a full week. We start every morning at 8 o'clock, and we usually wind up at 6 o'clock in the evening, that whole week before the session starts, trying to make sure everything is going to work. We hear from all the... I guess the thing that I was most appalled about was the Department of Health. Dr. Scrace is head of the Department of Health.
We all know him now.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And I can't remember how... Those are lots of numbers ago. I can't remember how many different departments there are in the Department of Health, but some of those things were just way, way out there, and I voted no on doing the entire funding for the Department of Health.
Gotcha.
Because it would have incrementally increased year after year after year.
Gotcha.
And we can't afford to do that. Whenever we are trying to create different departments under one particular entity, how can we sustain that whenever there is no guarantee due to oil and gas, which I'm going to say the more left-leaning people want to do away with? How are they going to pay for it? It's dang sure not renewables that's going to pay for it.
We're going to start money tree farms.
Is that what it's going to be?
That's what we're going to do.
Dang, I wish we had thought about that.
Well, they think they have them in Santa Fe. Santa Fe thinks they have money trees. All they have to do is go out and pick the leaves off the tree.
Right.
And they don't realize it came from the sweat and the hard work of people in southeast New Mexico.
But it's a good tactic on what they did, because right now everyone's like, yes, health department, COVID, we want to give them all the money. And so they're using that sympathy right now to take advantage of that. That's what that sounds like to me when I hear that. I don't know if I'm right or not, but that kind of...
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Dr. Scrace, after every department was talking, he would have to go back and give a synopsis on it, and it's just like, you need to be quiet, sir, let's roll with this. And the chairman of the committee was kind of getting a little bit aggravated, too. So I think I had to vote no on it.
Yeah. I can see that.
My Dr. Scrace story that really made me upset the last week, on Tuesday, Dr. Scrace was an expert witness on one bill, and he was there on the House floor. And I saw him in the hallway after that bill passed or didn't pass, whatever happened to it. So I'm in the hallway, and I went up. I said, "Hey, Dr. Scrace, can we get rid of these stupid masks?" and he said, "Well, don't worry, it's coming. It's coming. I just can't tell you when right now." And I said, "Come on." I said, we've been in this building with the same people for weeks on end.
It's all window
We've
dressing.
gone to several events where nobody had their mask on, elbow to elbow. I said, nobody's getting sick. Let's get rid of these masks. And he said, it's coming, it's coming. I said, well, why don't we do it today?
Yeah.
I said, at least let us breathe the last 2 days in this roundhouse.
If we get sick, we're going to take it home. Who cares?
And he said, well, it's coming. Well, come to find out, he knew exactly when it was going to come, and it was going to come at the press conference following the legislative session when the governor, was there with Peter Wirth and Brian
the hero
Ingoff,
comes in
and took her mask off and said, "Oh, this is no longer needed." Well, it was no longer needed 2 days before, or actually 30 days before.
And the reason, in my opinion, that she did it when she did at our adjournment, she couldn't get any of her bills passed out, but she had to show the people that she did something.
Sound like she's the governor of all the people.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're taking the mask off.
Yeah, it was disingenuous at best.
Well, I'm just going to point this out. People can do what they want with it. These same people that have been very not tough on crime for the last 3 years, all of a sudden got very tough on crime this year. Why do you think that is? Why Why do you think that is? You do your own math, but I just put I'll give you the numbers. You do the math there, but that's why.
Well, I'm back to the crime bill. All the stuff that came out of the House was greatly watered down on the crime stuff because the chair of Judiciary is one that does not want tougher crimes, and so the stuff that got out went to the Senate, watered down. The Senate's the one that restored the tougher provisions, and that's what came back to the House on the omnibus package that we talked about earlier.
Gotcha. You want to make a point there? There's something I want to talk about real quick. We're running short on time, but let's get that point out real quick here.
Okay, this is not anything really to do with the legislature. I just think people need to be aware of what our federal government is doing. Okay. We received word on a Saturday that the U.S. Forest Service was going to fly the Gila National Forest over there, and they were going to kill cattle over there out of a helicopter.
We talked to, I heard about this this is a goat rope. Go ahead.
It's absolutely terrible. The Forest Service estimated there's about 150 what they were calling feral cows. The state laws state, no, we do not have feral cows in the state of New Mexico. They are called estrays, and they do fall under the realm of the New Mexico Livestock Board.
Yeah.
Whenever we wrote this letter, I typed up the letter, got it sent off to the head of the U.S. Forest Service. Now, Randy, I can't remember his last name. Anyway, I do have copies of it. It was a great move by the House of Representatives because we had over 40 different members sign on to this saying, stop this. We needed to review it. We wanted more answers on why they were going to randomly fly and just kill cattle and leave them there in the forest.
That reeks of all kinds of just what the heck is going on. Yeah.
Especially when we can use them to feed people.
That's a commodity sitting down there.
That's
you
right.
know? Yeah, exactly.
Can they read a brand from a helicopter? I don't think so. But to leave them there to rot whenever that meat
I'm sure that's
could be
good for
put
the
to
environment too.
Well, yeah. Is that going to teach those wolves that are over there? The cows that they killed, they did not kill the calves because they couldn't see them.
Sure.
But those calves are now being, supper for all those wolves that are over there.
You just made it into a petting zoo for these wolves. They just come and feed off the...
Yeah.
Oh, it's really
So
bad.
anyway,
Yeah.
The secretary is going to be coming into the state of New Mexico soon. Whenever that happens, we are going to be invited to this meeting to point out the error of their ways in violation of New Mexico livestock laws.
I would imagine you could even get people that normally aren't on your side, like PETA.
Exactly.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
And I sent the letter, the copy of the letter also to Secretary Kinney with the Environment Department. If John Kerry is going to stand up and talk about the environment, what's happening over in the Ukraine right now, why aren't we doing something about it here? And this money to fund the shooting of those cattle over there came from a certain U.S. senators from New Mexico's budget request.
Sure.
I am really bothered by that.
And for people that don't really know what we're talking about here, all I can tell you is if conservatives and PETA are on the same side, you know that's wrong.
That's exactly right.
That's all you need to know.
That's exactly right.
I mean, that's all. Real quick before we got out of time here, I want to, for you guys personally here, with redistricting and stuff, getting on ballots and stuff, is there anything we can do to help out there? I know Greg just, because I'm in his district, asked me to get on the ballot. Is there anything we can do to help you guys make sure that you can continue to be on the ballots here for these redistricting, all the craziness that's going on with that?
Well, every representative has to get a certain number of petition or people to sign their petition who live in their district and are registered with their party, and to get on the ballot. We'll be turning those in a week from today, which is the filing day for people desiring to run for elective office, and that'll be done a week from today. So we'll have our signatures by that point, and we will know whether we have enough or
Okay.
not. And
I just didn't know if there's any help we can give you or tell people where to go to get signed up or
just give us a call and we'd be happy
We'll
to
be
get
call your
those to
respective
them.
offices
yes.
and things. And
Offices.
Yeah, you're looking at us.
I meant your ranch and your lawyer's office.
And it's going to be the way that they have split some of these districts up. It's unbelievable.
You know,
Unbelievable.
for Chaves County, there's some big changes with
is.
respect to the House districts.
I know we're all talking congressional districts, and that's crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
the House and Senate are equally crazy.
Well, Randy Crowder's House district in Clovis now comes all the way to Tierra Brenda Creek. So Walmart, the mall are in his district that he lives in Clovis. Representative Anderson's district, which is 66, Representative Anderson now lives in District 59, my district, and his district is east of the railroad tracks and north of 2nd Street now.
Oh, wow.
I have everything west of the railroad tracks. I don't have any of Lincoln County anymore, so my district is very compact, basically a city of Roswell district.
Wow.
Representative Zell's district has changed a little bit. She gets some good stuff where she grew up, which she's very happy about, I suppose.
Yes, I am.
Well, there's some good stuff out of this.
I did go back to the southern county line.
Okay.
And picked up 2 of Representative Nybert's districts. But this,
Well, they'll be happy because they're still in good hands. So
Yeah.
they're good there.
Yeah. But it's going to be interesting to see whenever people go to vote. Where am I supposed to go to vote?
It's going to be very confusing.
It is.
We'll do our best to try
But
to
you know what?
clear it out.
We're not going to get ballots sent out just randomly to every house.
Oh, heck no.
No,
Thank
that
goodness.
was in that bill that we killed in the last hours that we were talking about.
Yeah, treating elections like Publishers Clearinghouse is not a good
No, it's not a good thing.
You know, Mike, one thing that we made a big plea to the redistricting commission was to keep the Boot Hill at Chaves County in one of our districts, and that did not occur.
It didn't happen.
It's still in Representative Townsend's District 54, but you know, we made a big plea to the redistricting commission, but they keep chopping off the Boot Hill from Chaves County, and we're sorry that happened.
Yeah,
but-
they're adamant about separating them from the rest of the county.
That's Yes, right.
they are.
And just everything, you know, it
They
is
are.
kind of that way. So you're still part of us. We like you.
Yep.
Although, in all fairness, Representative Townsend's an excellent individual, so you are
He is.
getting well represented there, even if it's not by you guys. Well, as always, appreciate the visit here. We got to get you back, and maybe now we're off session, we can get you guys in when you got some time. When some of this other stuff is, we can talk a little bit more about some of that other fun that happens.
Yeah, we could
in the legislature here, and what's coming up, and all that good stuff.
Well, this will be an interesting year because of the tremendous turnover and the change in leadership. There's going to be a substantial change in leadership.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we'll be having you guys on doing the campaigning side of things here too as we get closer to all that good stuff. Which
Well, we would like that.
now the municipal election, once that's all over with, I think everyone's going to start turning their attention here to primary season here pretty quick.
Well, I know for a while after this particular election's over with, people don't want to hear from any politicians.
You know, I think we do. Y'all take a week or 2 off, and then come hit us after that. How about that?
Well, I have to go up to Washington D.C. to be at the Energy Council next Tuesday, so they won't hear from me for a week.
There we go.
I'll be
You're gonna take
out
a
of
week there,
pocket.
and then he's going to knock on your door right after that.
That's right.
Yep.
But again, all joking aside here, thank you both of you for everything you do for us here in Southeast New Mexico, and continue to do so. You know, whatever they throw at us here, I know both you guys will continue to represent the people of Southeast New Mexico.
Well, thank you for having us, and thank you for allowing us to be able to visit while we were in session. I think it's important.
And yeah, absolutely. And hopefully we can get some more. Hopefully maybe next year we'll try to, since it'll be a 60-day, maybe we can float around a little bit to get to work with you guys' schedule a little bit on some of that, and get where you guys aren't having to do it by candlelight at 6 in the morning, or all right, we got to hurry up because we got a session in an hour or whatever it is. So.
Well, lesson learned. I don't think we ought to plan on the Thursday of the closing.
Maybe. Some people wanted to poo-poo all over those plans.
And
Take a different day.
Again, Mike, please forgive us for our inability to be there.
Your day job was way more important there, right there. I just knew. I was like, well, they're not calling. They're probably bleary-eyed on the floor doing something related to the last hours of the session here. So
I was talking. It just wasn't to you. I'm sorry.
Well, thank you guys. We'll see you next time. Okay?
Thank you, Mike.
All right, 8:58. Quick break before news.
Ed Heldenbrand, candidate for city council. He's a patriot fighting against the waste of your tax dollars. As a CPA and chief financial officer with over 35 years of experience, Ed understands the importance of managing budgets. By reducing the wasteful spending in the budget, we can lower your city water, sanitation costs, and work to reduce city fees. Roswell's potential is hurt by bad ideas and wasteful spending. Ed Hildebrand will never vote to shut down Roswell. He'll fight the job, education, and freedom-killing mandates from Santa Fe. It's important that taxpayers see improvements in our roads and city services to attract jobs, businesses, tourists, and to create an environment for local businesses to thrive. In Ward 3, you have a choice. Vote Ed Heldenbrand, the conservative candidate. With your vote, we can build a better Roswell.
I'm Ed Heldenbrand, City Council candidate for Ward 3, asking for your vote on Tuesday, March 1st. It's not about me, it's about we, and I approve this message.
Hi, Roswell. I'm Guy Malone, candidate for mayor. Welcome to my non-mudslinging political campaign ad. I want you to visit roswellguy.com to find out about all the good reasons you have to actually vote for someone, not vote against someone. Refreshing idea, hey? Well, I've got lots more where that came from. You know and I know that Roswell is destined for same stuff, different year if we don't vote for positive changes that bring Roswell's politics and economy into the 21st century. Malone for mayor, roswellguy.com. Paid for by Guy Malone for Roswell.
Or President Biden's one-word answer, no. The question arises after Vladimir Putin placed Russia's nuclear forces on high alert. On the ground in Ukraine today, a Russian military convoy 40 miles long is menacing Kiev, and the Russians have been pounding government and civilian targets in Ukraine's second largest city, where officials have posted an online video aired by the BBC.
Our enemy has treacherously started shelling Kharkiv city centre and its residential areas using multiple launch rocket systems and cruise missiles. The square in front of the regional state administration office has been hit. We are now estimating casualties among the civilian population.
The Ukrainians, being helped by a number of European countries, are sending military hardware to Ukraine. Some of America's biggest businesses are hitting Russia with their own sanctions, and others offering aid and comfort to displaced Ukrainian civilians. An estimated 520,000 people, many women and children among them, have fled to neighboring countries, including Poland. The Ukraine crisis expected to figure prominently in tonight's State of the Union address. President Biden getting failing grades from the American people as he prepares for tonight's speech.
When the president stands before Congress and the country tonight, he won't have the support of most Americans. In several polls, including one from the Washington Post and ABC News, Mr. Biden is underwater. 37% approve of his job performance, 55% disapprove. He especially gets low numbers for his handling of the economy.
White House correspondent Greg Clugston says the address will take place at 9 p.m. Eastern. Texas voters ushering in the midterm campaign season, primary voting taking place today. On Wall Street, the Dow down 452 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hi, I'm cute kid number 1. And I'm cute kid number 2. And we have been forced, you mean hired? We have been hired to tell you what direct lender FOMO is. So let's say you buy a new home, and maybe you use one of those big mortgage monsters. Or someone your realtor or friend recommends. And then a few months later, you hear us being forced, hired to tell you about our mortgage team's direct lender advantage. And then you feel like you missed out, because you probably did miss out. And that is direct lender FOMO.
It's Ryan, and our mortgage team is an arm of a bigger company who is a direct lender, which means our company gets to use its own money and make its own decisions within its own walls. There's no middleman. This often allows us to get you a better rate on that new home mortgage, saving you monthly and lifelong money. We or United Faith Mortgage.
United Faith Mortgage is a DBA of United Mortgage Corp. 25 Melville Park Road, Melville, New York. Licensed mortgage banker. For all licensing information, go to NMLS-Consumer-Access.org. Corporate NMLS number 1330. Live record NMLS number 65233. Equal housing lender. Licensed in Alaska, Hawaii, Georgia, Massachusetts, North Dakota, South Dakota, or Utah.
Japanese tech giant Toshiba has named a new chief executive as it seeks shareholder approval for a restructuring plan aimed at restoring its reputation and competitiveness.
The company said Taro Shimada, an executive officer and senior vice president, would replace Satoshi Tsunakawa as chief executive. Toshiba was one of Japan's most revered brands, but it's been struggling since the Fukushima nuclear disaster in March 2011. Its reputation was tarnished also by a major accounting scandal.
Correspondent Jeremy House. The International Olympic Committee has made a sweeping move to isolate and condemn Russia over the country's invasion of Ukraine. The IOC has urged others to exclude Russian athletes and officials from international events. The IOC says the move is needed to protect the integrity of global sports competitions and for the safety of all the participants. News and analysis, townhall.com. Well, here's something else Alexa can do.
If there's no doctor in the house, Amazon's Alexa will soon be able to summon one. Amazon and telemedicine provider Teladoc Health are starting a voice-activated virtual care program that lets customers get medical help without picking up their phones. The service for health issues that aren't emergencies will be available on Amazon's Echo devices. Customers can tell the voice assistant Alexa that they want to talk to a doctor, and that will prompt a callback on the device from a Teladoc physician. Keith Peters reporting.
A deadly shooting in a Sacramento, California church. Police say a father who had a restraining order against him fatally shot his 3 daughters, their chaperone, and then himself. The sheriff says the gunman was estranged from the children's mother. The shootings believed to have happened during a supervised visit with the children. And on Wall Street, the Dow down 371. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Chris Invierno.
Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Election Day, everybody.
See.
Today's the day, your municipal election. If you did not early vote or absentee vote, and you're registered to vote, and you live in the city of Roswell, New Mexico.
Yep.
Or if you live in Artesia, you just vote in that municipal election. But
Yep.
for here in Roswell, you're going to vote in this municipal election.
That's right.
So, you do have not 1, not 2, but 6 different voting convenience centers that you can vote at today between now and 7 p.m. tonight.
That's right.
Those locations are the Boys and Girls Club of Chaves County at 201 South Garden, St. Mark's Lutheran Church at 2911 North Main Street, Country Club Road Church of Christ at 700 West Country Club Road, Waymaker Church at 2020 South Sunset, the Chaves County Admin Building, which is at the south end of that building at 1 St. Mary's Place.
Southeast side.
Yeah, there's usually big signs that says vote here. Like if you go to the main entrance, you can get there, but you're going through a gauntlet of hallways to get through all that. So save you some trouble. There's on the south end of the building there, southeast end, you park. There's a parking slot there. It says vote here. You walk right in, you're in and out.
Super easy.
No big deal. And then final voting location, convenience center, is at ENMUR Roswell campus there on in the Union Building at 400 University Boulevard. So you can go to any one of those 6 locations today and vote. And if you are in wards 1 through 4, you will have 2 decisions to make. Really 2 of everybody.
Pretty much.
But if you're in Ward 5, the Ward 5 candidate, Angela Moore, is the incumbent, is running unopposed.
Yep.
But you'll have a mayor decision and a city council decision to make. But if you're in 1, 2, and 3, 4, they're all contested races.
There's no bonds or other issues
Not
on the
that
ballot.
I'm aware of for the municipal. No, you'll see that kind of stuff come up later in the year here.
That's what I was thinking.
I think it's just city officials on this one. Judges and all that will be primaries and then general election, so all that stuff.
So you're saying there's time?
Yeah, you can't vote for sheriff today. That's not today.
I'm trying to get my breakfast fish sandwich initiative onto the next ballot.
Now we should put a bond issue on that one. Let's get city council, county commission, I don't care whom. Let's get some people with authority.
I just feel like we need to get feet on the ground on this idea.
If you won't create me a breakfast fish sandwich, I'm going to make you legislate me one.
That's right. The system works. Make it work for you, doggone it.
That's right.
Shoot, recreational starts in April. People are going to want weird things for breakfast. Breakfast fish sandwich, doggone it.
There'll be a breakfast fish sandwich in every pot if I'm elected. That's my mantra.
That's something that hadn't necessarily been brought up or addressed in this election. Is whoever gets put into the positions of power is going into a brave new world here in Roswell starting in April.
Yeah,
with recreational starting and everything.
Oh, we've talked about it. Yeah, the cities they're planning. There's a
lot of gears that need to be put into place.
That's a goat rope from top on down. That in true New Mexico style, goat rope.
What is that? I've been to 5 World's Fairs and 4 goat scrubs, and I ain't never seen nothing like that before.
Yeah, but oh well. But today's that day, folks.
Yep.
Get out there and
scrub your goats and vote.
That's right. And vote early, vote often.
Vote just the ones.
They frown when I say that. Matter of fact, when I go to the polling location, I'm like, all right, and then you get back in line, they really don't like that. I've done that where they say, congratulations, you vote. They put the sticker on me, and then I walk back into the line again, and they tell me no.
Voting in Sam's Club samples, they really don't like it when you double up.
Well, the trick with the samples at Sam's Club, you take 2 at the get-go.
Mustache.
Oh, yeah.
Mustache combo.
They're like, oh,
it doesn't work
with
me, but, you know.
What I do is I put on bigger shades.
Ah, yeah. Makes sense.
Actually, I have a tote bag of various costumes that I wear when I go there, and first it might be I don't know, a carpetbagging dude rolls up and gets a free sandwich.
Admittedly, I catch a lot of weird looks from the employees when I walk in with a duffel bag, but you know what? You have to plan ahead.
Yeah.
Those who plan to fail to plan.
That's right. But I ate like 12 wings last time I went there.
I walked out happy.
I had sauce on my face when I left.
Forgot to take the big beard off, and I was actually just hiding half a salmon.
Well, I ate like 12 chicken wings. I'm like, hey, is there a guy handing out free napkins? They said no. So I had to walk out with all this stuff on my face.
You'd think, can I sample some napkins? Where's the bounty stand?
Where's that guy?
That was one of the weirdest samples. Because, okay, so full disclosure, my kid's mom used to work at Sam's.
She was a sample giver.
She was a sample.
I bumped into her one time and she gave me a sample.
One of the weirdest samples she ever did was she did a display for Bounty.
Okay.
And she was handing out literally plastic wrapped 2-packs of paper towels. That's a very odd sample to hand out.
And then the pack gives you 2 paper towels?
2 paper towels inside of an individually plastic wrapped container.
Paper towels.
So you could try the power of Bounty for yourself.
At least give you like that little Kleenex pack women put in their purses. Give her that size of Bounty.
Satchel of Bounty. Nope, it was two. It was the selected size, so it was 2 of the half sheets of Bounty.
So it's 1 paper towel.
Yeah, basically.
Sheet, basically. That they cut in half.
But you could select a size.
Yeah.
It's the Bounty roll you customize. She had to learn the whole thing.
Unless you want 3 paper towels. You can't select that size.
It was a weird one.
And it's a paper towel.
It's a paper towel.
I mean, how many people are like,
Imagine
I've been
using
paper towels all my life.
Imagine a scenario where they were handing out red wine samples right next door, and you had to unwrap your paper towels if there was a cleanup situation.
Yeah.
Like, hold on. And you're like 6 of these.
Or better yet, someone who buys paper towels their whole life gets their one free paper towel that they cut in half from Bounty and go and use it on a project and say, I'm sold.
That changed my life.
I will never again use Viva paper towels.
I was a Viva man for my whole life. I was going to say. No, you know what? I will say this. Pound for pound, there is not a paper towel out there better than Viva.
Oh, no, that's what we use.
That is the best paper towel. It's fabric-like, tears better.
Although they
I never get those paper towel splinters like on everything else.
They've been pulling during COVID. They pulled a little rope-a-dope on me.
Did they?
And because they have the Viva Vantage, and so they have a couple Viva brands that they claim are, I don't know what they claim, but they're not the soft.
It's like the Bounty Essentials.
Yeah.
It's like they have another company make them, and they just slap the name
And they're
on it.
kind of rougher. They're a little because I blow my nose with Viva paper towels because I got a lot of stuff.
Because they're
out,
soft. They're
and
tissue soft.
Yeah. And those little Kleenex don't quite cut the mustard there for me. So,
Well, we're in wartime. The corners have to be cut. You
that's
understand?
right. But that's the weirdest flex freebie I've ever heard.
It is so odd, dude.
Paper towel.
It was very odd. I was like, she's like, would you like a sample of some paper towels?
Yeah. Would you like one diaper?
Dude, you're not. They did that too. That one was in the machine. That was the Freosk. You'd scan your card, and they would drop out one
I
single
think
Huggy.
they had a box of Huggies fall off the pallet and bust open and say, free samples. I think that's what happened.
Get the word out, I guess.
We are going to talk Leadership Roswell Alumni Association Teen Leadership, their big candidate, big program. That's coming up here later March. This week is the last week to register. So if you have a high school junior or senior, they've been procrastinating, this is the week to stop procrastinating. So we'll talk all about that. Damon Graham's going to join us from Leadership Roswell Alumni Association. We'll talk all about the Teen Leadership Program. Again, scheduled March 21st and 22nd. Scholarships are involved with this. You're going to want to listen up if you haven't heard about this. So that's coming up in just a few. Before we do any of that, let's go ahead and take a look at your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure is parked over southern Colorado, and that'll be bringing us fair weather today across eastern New Mexico, around 70 on our afternoon high, and we should get plenty of sunshine. Overnight, a few clouds will drop into the low and mid-30s. We're looking at about 75 again for the high on Wednesday, and sunny, a mix of sun and clouds, and mid-70s on Thursday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 44 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity kind of low down there at 19%. It kind of makes me worried with the fire watches. I know we don't have any of that, but when you see it down that low, that's when they're usually talking about it. Winds out of the north at 7 miles per hour. Mostly sunny today. 72 for a high with north winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy tonight with an overnight low of 33. South winds at around 5 miles per hour. For you Wednesday, we'll be in the mid-70s tomorrow under mostly sunny skies. Winds out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, mostly clear with an overnight low of 38. Southwest winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Thursday, more of the same, 75 and sunny. South winds 5 to 10 in the morning, 10 to 15 for the afternoon. Friday, the winds are rolling in, but warm temperatures too. We're going to be it's going to be like that big hairdresser hair dryer from back in the day. That's what it's going to be like inside one of those. 82 and windy. Mostly sunny, high of 82, but windy. Windy Friday night as well. And then looking at your weekend, sunny mid-70s, 74 on Saturday, and sunny highs right around 70 on Sunday. And looks like we'll start next week, the work week, in the low 60s. So we'll see how that shapes up. All right, it is 9:17. We're going to take a 3.5-minute commercial break, and then Damon Graham will join us on the other side here, and we'll talk Leadership Roswell Alumni Association and the Team Leadership Program, which will get underway March 21st and 22nd. That's coming up next. Don't go away.
Hi, Roswell. I'm Guy Malone, candidate for mayor. Welcome to my non-mudslinging political campaign ad. I want you to visit roswellguy.com to find out about all the good reasons you have to actually vote for someone, not vote against someone. Refreshing idea, hey? Well, I've got lots more where that came from. You know and I know that Roswell is destined for same stuff, different year if we don't vote for positive changes that bring Roswell's politics and economy into the 21st century. Malone for mayor, roswellguy.com.
Paid for by Guy Malone for Roswell.
If you're a person who has more to do than you have hours in your day, and everything seems to take priority over your own health, then you're going to love the Loveless MyChart Secure Patient Portal. You can message your doctor, make an appointment, or view lab results anytime, day or night, on your computer or smartphone. Print a list of your medications at the click of a mouse, or even compare previous tests to map your health progress. Loveless MyChart connects you to better health, anywhere, anytime.
Oasis Computers has been Roswell's trusted source for home and small business computers for over 30 years, and they continue to be your best resource for computer repairs, operating system upgrades, web root managed antivirus, special orders, and more. Oasis Computers is now open from 8 to 1, Monday through Friday to better serve you. Service calls by appointments and after-hour appointments are available too. Stop by Oasis Computers at 1703 North Garden or call or text 575-625-9141 for even faster service.
Honey, did you see the story in the Roswell paper recently about how Dennis Kintai and the city council want to spend $61 million on new baseball fields?
Yep, talk about out-of-control spending.
Yeah, they say it's a field of dreams, more like field of debt.
Definitely. Kintai and the council don't have their priorities straight. Remember, they wanted to spend $35 million on a new public safety complex. Thank goodness over 80% of voters rejected that boondoggle.
And meanwhile, crime has gone up drastically over Kintai's last 4 years in charge.
Yeah, and Roswell's roads are a mess. Have you seen the sorry state that streets like North Garden are in? Potholes everywhere.
That's why we need Tim Jennings for mayor. Tim will control spending, hire more police officers, and fix our roads.
Let's send a message to City Hall that Roswell can't afford to spend $61 million on building new baseball fields. Vote Tim Jennings for mayor.
Paid for by Tim Jennings for mayor.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. The education assistance I received made it possible for me to be the first person in my family to go to school and graduate debt-free. That education helped get me to the first day at my dream job, a job that I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job, plus the other benefits possible from the Army National Guard, helped me become a first-time homeowner. Also, part of my role as a National Guard soldier means I know that I can be one of the first to respond and help my community if disaster ever strikes. I'm extremely proud that I get to serve my community, and that first step I took by joining the Army National Guard has made all the difference in my life. Talk to your local recruiter or visit NationalGuard.com to find out what firsts are available to you in the Army National Guard.
Sponsored by the New Mexico Army National Guard, aired by the New Mexico Broadcasters Association and this station.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. U-Haul is the world's largest advertiser in the Yellow Pages. Too bad millennials don't know what the Yellow Pages are. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 21 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, back wearing his Leadership Roswell Alumni Association hat, Damon Graham back with us. Morning, Damon.
Good morning, Mike.
How you doing today?
Fabulous and blessed at every turn.
Well, we're not talking candidate forum today.
Ooh, got that out of the way.
However, if you have not voted yet and you have not seen the candidate forum, I highly recommend you go to ksvptv.com and at least watch your ward's race in the mayoral race. And hopefully that'll give you some good information when you head into the polls on to know if you're making the right decision or not.
I agree totally.
Yeah.
And take this opportunity. I mean, it was a great forum. There was a lot of things came to light.
Yeah.
A lot of unexpected things came to light.
Absolutely.
So, but that's what it's designed for. Mm-hmm. And I think it did its job perfectly.
Absolutely. Yeah, you really get to peel back the curtain a little bit and kind of see how these people think, act, and what they believe in. And it's more than just the company line sometimes. And I think the forum does an excellent job of bringing that out.
I think it did. Another good year. Kudos to everybody that helped put it on. And I'm involved in it. I live in the county, so I have no
You don't get
dog
to
in
vote
the
in
fight.
this one,
I
yeah.
have no dog in the fight, but it was very enlightening to see, and I'm curious now that I saw all the candidates and how they presented. I'm curious to see if my anticipation of what I saw comes to light.
See if the people kind of lined up with the way you saw it.
Exactly.
Yeah. But anyway, ksvptv.com, you'll find it there. If when you go there, you'll see all our different channels. If I remember right, the last time I looked, it's the one on the far left, if you see it there, on the thing. Nothing to do politically, just on the left of the page.
You have to do those have to clarify just a little bit, just to make sure that you're not tagged.
Yeah, especially when you say far.
Yeah.
But we are here to talk about, I would argue, the other big event that really Leadership Roswell kind of gets the Alumni Association kind of gets their spotlight in the community. That Canon Forum's one of the big ones. The other big one, one of the other big ones, I'd say there's three altogether.
Right.
This is one of the other big ones, is the Teen Leadership Program. This is something they've been doing for years now, and partnering with the New Mexico Military Institute. Fortunately, we have a lot of alumni that have called or call the Institute home, and they step up and really help us put this program together. We've got some of their leadership on over there at NMMI helping out with the program and everything here. But this is an amazing program. I mean, I would argue if you have a high school junior or senior, I don't care what direction they're going in, whether they're going to the military, they're going to go to college, they're going to go to the workforce right out of college, or maybe go to a tech or vocational school, whatever it is, the things they learn, the activities they partake in over the course of those couple days here will positively impact whatever course they go to and decisions they make in life, because the skills that they obtain, the things that you can't teach that in any other, you know what I mean?
And I have to echo everything that you just said, because realistically, when you look at society today, there's too many followers, and we get led down paths that, we may not agree with, but we go down that way because it's easy. Well, leadership isn't easy, and it's not necessarily taught in any capacity in the schools or anything like that. That's been taken away because of all the other things that need to be taught.
Sure.
But this is an opportunity that we have some really, really great individuals that plug into these students and draw out some of their leadership skills.
Sure. Exposes leaders in our community. That's kind of what it does,
Well, and even far and above that, even if they aren't the leader in the front, they know, they have a better understanding of what their characteristics are,
sure,
what they bring to the table, and how they can plug into the situation where, they could essentially be a behind-the-scenes leader.
Absolutely.
Because you can only have, realistically, one person steering the ship.
Yeah, calling the shots or whatever.
Exactly.
But that's not just leadership.
No.
Leadership's much more than calling the shots.
You need all the other support and what they have to bring to the table. And this program is great at that capacity to really unveil these individuals' characteristics and the hidden gems that hide there. And a lot of high school kids, and I know this interacting with them, is they never have the opportunity to really shine in this capacity, because in the classroom they don't have those type of programs set up. They don't have the projects where they can really step up and be the leader of the group or be the support leader. And this program really brings that to light.
Absolutely. The particulars, it's March 21st and 22nd. It's going to be taking place there at the campus, right?
It's at Daniels Learning Center.
At the Daniels Leadership Center there. And the deadline to get your applications is March 4th in. We'll tell you on how to get those here in just a little bit. But I will tell you this. This is for high school juniors and seniors. It's a 2-day event. They will be getting there will be scholarships awarded up to at least $3,500 in scholarships. The great thing about this,
the scholarship winners are chosen by the class, by their peers. At the end of the day, the adults in the room don't make those decisions. It's really up to the classmates on who they think's the most deserving of these scholarships.
For the most part.
Yeah.
Now we do have some oversight.
Gotcha.
And that oversight is built in just to make sure that it's not a popularity contest.
Keep it where it's on merit, not
exactly
on who's got the coolest shirt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So realistically, the majority of the information and the scholarship granting is coming from the peer process, but we do have oversight from the adults in the room.
Yes.
Just to make sure that it doesn't end up being a popularity contest or something just way out of whack.
Yeah.
Because realistically, these scholarships are going to those that shine, and that's a great process.
Absolutely. And what I love about this program is by design to bring out elements in leadership, you almost have to sometimes put people in scenarios that are a little bit out of their comfort zone, if you mean by that. And this program does a real good job of that because they work with the ropes course and some of the things that they've got there at the NMMI campus. So things like, the climbing the wall or doing the guided walks or the zip lines, those kind of things, which are fun and all done safely. But, some of us don't do well with heights. Some of us don't do well with these things. And that's where they get exposed and where the leaders come out here.
Yeah.
It's like, and some of it's little projects like, okay, we've got a scenario here where we've got to get our entire group through this thing using only these things. How do we do that?
Right.
How do we do? And so it builds those team concepts, and that's where your leaders really come out on some of this stuff because you notice, you watch back and you'll see some people kind of take a back seat while others step forward, and then some of those back seat folks kind of hear what's going on and say, well, what if you do that? I mean, it really kind of shows those people, and because it gives them an opportunity to step forward themselves in a scenario.
And because it's broken down into a small group, a lot of those that normally, have more of a recluse type personality, they have that opportunity to break loose a little bit.
Sure.
Because once they establish the friendships of that small group, they're more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
They have that, that push to grow a little bit. And it's interesting because, you'll see the typical, for lack of a better term, the jock that comes in, the quarterback.
Sure.
Comes in and normally is leading the pack. I've seen it many times. They fall back and take the role of more of a submissive type support role to the nerd.
But you know what? That's leadership too. Yep. And that's the point we're making is that's all aspects of leadership. Being a leader is not just running the group.
No.
Being a leader is knowing when to come out and be the person that's leading, when there's someone else in the group that's better suited to do with that. And as a leader, you're like, I need to recognize that, and I need to say, okay, well, this is your strength. You need to lead us through these parts. And that's all part of leadership is you knowing what you have, utilizing your resources, utilizing your assets, and getting the most out of everybody in that group here. And sometimes it means, leading from the front. Sometimes it means leading from the rear. Sometimes it means passing that baton to someone else to make sure we all get through that scenario.
Yeah, the caboose is just as important as the engine.
Absolutely.
And, you mentioned we've got a great group of people at NIMI. They do a phenomenal job at putting the program together, step by step, what we're going to go through, how we're going to administer all this, and there's of course a rhyme and reason to everything that's done.
Sure, this is tried true practice stuff.
Yeah,
yeah,
and you can equate it to, and I forget the number, but how many are running in the municipal election today that actually went through Leadership Roswell?
Quite a few.
I think it was like 3/4.
Yeah,
but Rick made that comment, and I was like, wow.
Yeah,
and that just shows you, and who knows? Some of those, I doubt any of those actually went through the teen leadership because they're all older.
Sure.
But that sets the stage.
You know what? We're not far from that.
No.
Like, I'm waiting for a year here where we're going to have a young candidate come in, and sure enough,
They were one of the graduates of the teen leadership program, and are back home here after going to school and doing all these things, and probably establishing themselves in our community and ready to step up.
Yep.
That's the kind of people that do that.
I mean, and we need more leaders. Mm-hmm. Our society as a whole, in my opinion, has become so apathetic, and we sit back and we go, someone else will take care of it.
Technology and society have made that very easy for us.
Yep.
Where you don't even have to get out of your chair to get fed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's something to that when you're not required to do anything to do. You know what I mean? At some point, you at least got to get off your tail and do something. And we've built a society where you really don't have to do that anymore.
Exactly. And I think this takes it takes a step out away from that, gets the kids out of their comfort zone, gets them in a position where they can do a self-evaluation of themselves and earn money for college.
Yeah, I mean, even this is the part I want to stress to people is, they're going to be awarding some scholarships, $3,500 to be awarded in scholarships, at least here. Yeah. So, but every single person that goes to this program, because, not everyone's going to get a scholarship here, but every single one of them are going to find valuable tools that are going to serve them well at whatever's next for them.
Yep.
If I'm telling you, these things make a huge difference. I don't know how many times in my life since then, just now I've been involved in meetings and things, and some of the skill sets that are being taught in this program, I learned either in scouting or through military, but some of the same things, some of the same skills programs, some of the stuff that's coming out that I learned in those are being taught right through here. And I'm telling you, that stuff's the stuff that serves these children and as well as adults.
Yeah. I've personally had 2 of my kids go through the programs and receive scholarships.
That's awesome.
And actually, this is the first year that I can step in and be more proactive role because I stepped out because they were in the program and I didn't want any kind of nepotism going on. But the scholarships are phenomenal. Mm-hmm. I mean, but the skill sets that they learn from it will last forever.
Sure. I imagine you saw differences in your kids. Subtle. Just afterwards you're kind of like, oh, look at them thinking through it. I think they learned that through their leadership
through both of them.
Yeah.
Both of them. And a lot, I think probably the biggest change in them was their ability to step out and talk in front of a group because they're very kind of reclusive type. They step back into the shadows where in this scenario they were forced to come out and step out.
And we live in a world today where there's less and less of that stepping up and speaking and I mean just the bare technology of phones has severely hampered the ability to communicate younger people because they think in a sentence they can text in 2 seconds instead of conveying a full thought or a full conversation without going LOL.
Right, exactly. And it back to the scholarships, $3,500 is the minimum that, in fact, we're right now working with in some negotiations per se to get some additional sponsors.
Nice.
And
so if anybody's listening and want to be a sponsor and donate some money, it's for an awesome cause and it's going towards these kids and
it's a 501(c), so it is tax deductible.
Absolutely.
But we are working on getting some additional monies for scholarships. That $3,500 was what we knew we had. And that's what we went to print with, but we've been working on.
So
and
it's a bigger
last
number.
year we were able to give away 5,000.
Nice.
And we're hoping to double the 35 at a minimum.
Good.
And when you stop and figure that has a large impact.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, this is for juniors and seniors, and that's happened before where kids come as a junior. Win the scholarship and then come back and do it again and also get, and again, it's all selected by the group for the most part there.
Yeah.
That's so they truly earn it because I think the people, I almost think they vote serious because they're going through, it's like, man, this program was so much better because we got through it with so-and-so. And that's, this is what those scholarships are about. It's basically stating that from these individuals. They're saying, man, this person really, we thought was a wallflower turned out to be some of our biggest contributors here over these last 2 days.
And they learn from each other.
Mm-hmm.
Once they really start I mean, of course, when they first start off, it's like pulling teeth because, they're a lot of times they're sitting with somebody that they don't even know.
Sure.
The whole group. But once they start warming up to each other, then you just start seeing it come out, and they'll extract it from each other, and they'll learn from each other.
Sure.
Because you'll see, and you'll see the looks in their eyes and on their faces. They're like, then that, of course, competition. They start thinking, oh, well, that one can do that. Oh, by the way, there's money on the table. I better up my game.
Sure.
And so that competitive, underlining comes out.
Absolutely.
And says, hey, I've got to step up my game if I'm going to be in the running for that money.
Which is all important, too, because that's the lessons. And, if you've got something that you want, a goal you want to achieve, you got to fight for it. And that's a lesson that that age is very important to teach in them. We as parents and everything spend our society when we build up our kids and talking about they're special and they're great and that's all good, but sometimes in those lessons you got to tell them like things are earned, things aren't given, and if you want to get something, you're going to have to earn it, you're going to have to fight for it, and this puts that practice into reality. You know what I mean? It helps with that in a great, safe environment where they're getting to do things, meet new people, and find out the good side of competition and working. Because when we're all competing and doing well, at the end of the day, we all win.
Right.
And that's what the great thing about this. Yeah, only so many kids are going to get the scholarships, but every single youth that goes through here is going to gain that information, gain that skill set, take all that information that they've learned and used, and they're going to do it and apply it into their own lives. And next thing you know, you're going to see they're probably better leaders in their sports teams and various other activities that they're involved in. And you'll notice that. Or, they go to college, and next thing you know, it's like, whoa, they're organizing themselves and doing things that, that we would have never thought that was part of, they're kind of adults now.
Right.
Weird.
Adulting is a tough scenario.
Yeah.
But, and one of them, I've heard this back from several different people that, oh, well, I don't want to go to it because, the scholarship's for NIMI. No. The scholarship is it's applicable to wherever you're going to go to school, whether it's a trade school, whether it's,
accredited institution, it goes there.
In or out of state.
Yeah.
And therefore it's, it broadens the horizons, and to the parents out there, because I doubt very many students are actually listening to this, but ask your students, ask your kids, have they looked into this? Have they received an application? Because we've distributed applications to everybody here in the Valley, Roswell High, Goddard, Gateway, Dexter, Hagerman, Lake Arthur, I believe, Artesia, Fort Sumner.
So hitting all of the Pecos Valley.
We did. In fact, we were talking about it just the other day in our meeting. Someone was also supposed to reach out to Ruidoso.
Okay. Great.
But, if you can hear this and you want to attend, contact us, get the information, get the application. And like Mike said earlier, this Friday is the application cutoff.
Yes, March 4th.
Now, not to say that if you're mailing it in, mail it in, and as long as it's postmarked,
sure.
we'll definitely accept it. Or, I believe there's an email address on there that it can even be emailed in.
Yeah, I'll give you. Here's a couple. You can get your applications from your school counselors, any of the school, like he was mentioning. If that didn't happen, you can shoot an email to RoswellTeenLeadership@gmail.com. Roswell Teen Leadership, all one word, no spaces, @gmail.com.
Yeah.
And then you can get an application there. And then I believe you can also go to that same link to submit the application.
I believe so.
If you have any questions about anything, you can call or text Desi Aguilar, Major Desi Aguilar over at NMMI, 575-420-8732, or Lieutenant Eric Evertson at 575-624-8135. Also, the Leadership Roswell Alumni Association has a Facebook page. You will find this little flyer up there with all the event information, link information. So anything I've talked about here, if you spaced out or drive and missed, you can find it there on the Facebook page as well, too. You can always call here, and I'll relay that information. But But please, again, this is for high school juniors and high school seniors. Both can apply to this, but they got to get those applications in by March 4th. Just gee whiz information. The stuff on the application, is it straightforward, or is there any kind of thought-provoking things they have to do on this application?
There's some thought-provoking, and it's one of those scenarios. Don't laissez-faire it.
Gotcha.
I mean, put some thought into it. Answer the questions, because if we get more applicants than we have seats, which I believe we're shooting for 25 participants.
Okay.
If we get more applicants, then we're going to have to go through the process of putting some on the back burner till next year if they're juniors or who turn in their application first.
Gotcha.
That's going to come to play as well.
Gotcha.
But if you halfway fill out the application, I mean that in itself,
then we think you're halfway interested.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So therefore, put a little bit of effort into it.
Or dad or mom's interested, not the child. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that can be applied to so many different scenarios, whether it's applying for a job or other scholarship scenarios, applications to college. Put your best foot forward.
Absolutely.
Because all they see is what's on paper.
Yeah, that's all they got to go on. And so you better make it good.
Exactly. Because, in those other scenarios, you might have a face-to-face interview if you get past the paper application.
Yeah. And here's something I cannot stress enough is that this program will give these youth, which they so desperately need, because I think we've taken a back burner to teaching some of this stuff in our youth, is that problem-solving, critical thinking side of things.
Yeah.
I mean, we can, in school they do a great job of regurgitating dates, times, all that stuff. But that part that truly makes us human and adult to take a scenario and say, all right, how do I break this down and solve it or fix this problem or whatever it is, that's what this program is all about. It really equips the youth that participate with that stuff. And that's what I'm talking about, serves them well afterwards. So, and I'm, later on down the road when they're trying to balance the household budget and they're getting skill sets here,
foundational,
that'll help them to make those decisions correct, and do what they're needing to do, because now they know and understand why they're making these decisions and things. And that's really the money's awesome. If that's the carrot,
the experience is larger.
If that's what it takes to dangle the carrot to get you there, so be it. But at the end of the day, it's the work that they do in those 2 days, that those kids do hand in hand, climbing the towers, navigating the obstacles, learning, problem solving these different things. That's the part that really is the good stuff.
So realistically, to sell this, you got opportunity to get scholarships. You got opportunity to learn, and you're excused from class.
Oh yeah, there's that too.
And the 21st and 22nd are the Monday, Tuesday when we get back from spring break.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's not like you're really going to be doing anything in class anyway.
Gotcha.
So you might as well make it productive and come out and get some learning, get some teaching, get some skills that add to your toolbox the things that aren't common anymore.
Absolutely. So parents, kids, if you're listening, but like you said, probably more likely the parents at this point, shoot an email or have your kids shoot a text to your kids and say, hey, go visit your school guidance counselor, pick up an application. If that's not a possibility, or if they're homeschooled or something like that, roswellteenleadership@gmail.com. Shoot an email to that. Say, hey, I heard on the radio I want to get an application for the teen leadership. They'll someone write your way.
Yep.
Get that filled in, and you can email it right back to them, or that's probably, or you can call Desi, and he'll tell you the best word. Maybe he'll have you drop it off at the Daniels Leadership Center or whatever. I think that's where they hang out, right? That's their main office, is the Leadership Center. So good deal. Is there anything else we missed? Is there anything we wanted to make sure we get out there?
Just don't take it lightly.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a great opportunity. This is one that, can catapult you into a whole nother level of understanding and experience, and just give you the opportunity to shine.
we're going to have some more other Leadership Roswell alumni folks on later this week. Last minute reminder about this thing. But I know this is weird last minute, but I don't know. Are your children around? Because I'm thinking maybe they brought one with them that went through the program and let them speak of it. You know
Actually,
what I mean?
they're planning on it.
Okay.
Thursday, I believe they're coming in, Desi and Amy.
Okay.
And I believe they're bringing Haley,
cool.
who was one of our large recipients last year.
Good. Because I think that
speaks volumes.
Yeah, that's the testimony right there.
Yeah, I tried to get one of my boys, but they were busy and opted out.
Tell them, ladies love a celebrity. Put them on the radio.
Yeah, but they were just like, yeah, Dad, no.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. But yes, I believe Thursday that Haley's supposed to come on.
Okay.
And so it's just a great opportunity that they don't need to miss out on.
Absolutely. So again, get applications at any of the high school guidance counselors here in town. If that's runs into a brick wall for you, then roswellteenleadership@gmail.com. Shoot an email to that; they'll get it to you. And if that don't have any luck there, which you should, but just in case, I'm giving you contact Desi Aguilar at NMMI 575-420-8732. You can text that number. Or I think you can call him too, but I think he prefers text.
Probably.
And then, of course, Eric Evertson at the Institute at 575-624-8135.
Yeah.
And of course, all the COVID stuff will be in practice or whatever. Of course, that's all gone now, I think. But
it's election time.
Yes, right. I think I pointed that out last hour, if I remember right.
It's election time. COVID's at bay.
That's right. It takes the election years off. Conveniently.
Definitely so. But yeah, Mike, I appreciate that KSVP and the radio and everybody else has helped us out in promoting this. And like you said, this is one of three major things that Leadership Roswell Alumni Association does.
Yeah. The other thing we do is honor some leaders in our community.
The annual banquet.
Yeah, the annual banquet.
And that's coming up, and we'll be back on the radio for that as well.
And I think this year we're going back to, more of a traditional style with the banquet here after post-COVID world here.
Yep.
So look forward to that. So,
definitely.
Knocking on wood in case something screws it up between now and then.
Hopefully we have elections around that time.
Yeah. I think we're safe till then. And Lord knows what's going to happen.
Exactly.
So, but thank you as always, Damu. Appreciate the visit. And we'll see you next time.
Definitely.
If not sooner. Of course, that's impossible. But anyway, I just like saying stuff like that. People are like, what is he talking about? It is 9:50. Let's pause for local news. Sean Hannity update. Of course, we'll also get you into your Chaves County sports and pay some bills for my lunch. We'll be back. Mostly political ads. Good news is this is the last day for a little bit. You're not going to hear any political ads tomorrow. You're going to get them hot and heavy today, and then they'll be gone for at least a week or two, and then they'll fire back up with primary season here. But you got a bit of a respite.
Now for a Pecos Valley News update, I'm Jared Sorello. A reminder that the Artesia Police Records Division is closed today for in-service training all day. The Artesia Police Records Division will reopen Wednesday morning. And another reminder that today is Election Day for municipal elections in Artesia. If you did not vote early, you can vote until 7 p.m. today at Faith Baptist Church, 402 South 20th Street, or the Artesia Senior Center, located at 202 West Chisholm. The Roswell Police Department will be swearing in a young honorary member Friday as part of a fun-filled day in Roswell for the special visitor. 10-year-old DJ Daniel is from Houston. He's battling a diagnosis of terminal cancer. DJ's dream is to one day become a police officer. With the help of his parents and a number of law enforcement agencies in several states, he's doing just that the best way he can, many times over. To learn more about DJ, you can visit his GoFundMe page online, which was created to help the family with medical and travel expenses. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
Picking up on the right side. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
There is a way, and this is what Joe Biden can't do and won't do. In his State of the Union speech, he ought to say, I have now lifted all of the restrictions on energy production in America, and I have asked every energy-producing company to get back to work. For example, he blocked the Keystone XL pipeline. He should begin rebuilding it. He put new drilling efforts in Alaska on a permanent hold. He should lift that. he should lift the restrictions on ANWR as well. And he should increase oil, gas, and coal. And we should immediately have a goal as a country to return to energy independence.
From coast to coast, from sea to shining sea, it's the Sean Hannity Show.
I'm not the best at making decisions on decor at my house. For custom window treatments, I just use Blinds.com. Now, you'll save up to 35% off site-wide at Blinds.com to make your dream home a reality. Now, I've seen firsthand how custom window treatments, it's a minor home improvement that has a major impact. Plus, you get installation on unlimited windows for your entire home at one low cost. Blinds.com, save up to 35% off site-wide. Blinds.com, tell them your friend Sean Hannity sent you. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure is parked over southern Colorado, and that'll be bringing us fair weather today across eastern New Mexico, around 70 on our afternoon high, and we should get plenty of sunshine. Overnight, a few clouds will drop into the low and mid-30s. We're looking at about 75 again for the high on Wednesday, and sunny, a mix of sun and clouds, and mid-70s on Thursday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. We told you about the big schools at the upcoming state basketball tournament yesterday. How about the small schools? How about the Gateway Christian Warriors in Class 1A girls? They are 17-2 overall and have drawn the 5th seed. They will host Alamo Navajo, the 12th seed, coming up this Friday. Also in girls hoops, it'll be Dexter at 15-6 playing at the 7th seed, playing host to number 10 Hatch Valley. Dexter lost to Tucumcari in the district championship, but still got that 7th seed. That's important. In boys, it's Hagerman, the 7th seed in Class 2A. They'll be hosting number 10 Texaco coming up on Saturday. Number 15 Dexter will be at Robertson. Dexter will be playing that game on Saturday as well. Robertson's the 2nd seed. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. Production resumes tomorrow at all of Toyota's 14 Japanese plants, idled for a day by a cyber attack on a domestic supplier.
Kojima Industries says it found a virus in its computer server and it was investigating. A Toyota spokeswoman said the server problem was not yet resolved, but the two companies had devised alternative ways to operate. Toyota says the physical mechanics of production were not affected by the virus.
Correspondent Jeremy House. Target's fourth quarter profit rose nearly 12%. Sales increased 9.4%. The Minneapolis-based retailer is out with an upbeat revenue forecast for 2022. Russia's invasion of Ukraine continues to rattle the Dow. The blue chip index sharply lower at mid-morning. The Nasdaq bouncing between small gains and modest losses. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
Hi, Roswell. I'm Guy Malone, candidate for mayor. Welcome to my non-mudslinging political campaign ad. I want you to visit roswellguy.com to find out about all the good reasons you have to actually vote for someone, not vote against someone. Refreshing idea, hey? Well, I've got lots more where that came from. You know and I know that Roswell is destined for same stuff, different year if we don't vote for positive changes that bring Roswell's politics and economy into the 21st century. Malone for mayor, roswellguy.com.
Paid for by Guy Malone for Roswell.
We all have the power to prevent substance misuse and promote positive mental health in New Mexico. Whether by supporting someone who is going through a difficult time or talking about healthy habits with children at an early age. Learn how at doseofwellness.com. That's doseofwellness.com. Doseofwellness.com. Sponsored by New Mexico Human Services Department.
Oasis Computers has been Roswell's trusted source for home and small business computers for over 30 years, and they continue to be your best resource for computer repairs, operating system upgrades, web root managed antivirus, special orders, and more. Oasis Computers is now open from 8 to 1, Monday through Friday to better serve you. Service calls by appointments and after-hour appointments are available too. Stop by Oasis Computers at 1703 North Garden or call or text 575-625-9141 for even faster service.
Hi, I'm Margaret Kinnard, City Councilor representing Ward 2. All the candidates are telling us what they are going to do, but let me tell you what I have done. As Vice Chair of the Infrastructure Committee, I worked diligently and was successful in funding the largest street projects in Roswell's history. As a member of the Finance Committee, I assisted in successfully cutting excessive government spending by 23%. I voted to protect your rights, and I promise to continue to do so. Roswell is home for me and my family, and I look forward to continuing to serve the citizens of Roswell. I ask for your vote on Tuesday, March 1st. Paid for by Friends to Elect Margaret Kinnard.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Turtles can breathe through their butts. We imagine you know some people who do that too, because that's where their heads reside. Here's Mike Winters.
Good morning. It is closing in on 9:59. If you missed any part of our show today, I invite you to check it out at your leisure, ksvptv.com. Just click on the Mornings with Mike Winters channel there, and we'll have it there. And then shortly after the show, Roy will separate today's interviews from the main portion of the main show there, so you can go back and check those out by themselves. We had Robert Sherman join us in the 7 o'clock hour from Walker Aviation Museum, and excuse me, gave us an update there. In the 8 o'clock hour, we had State Representatives Greg Nyber and Candy Spence-Ezell join us, recapping the legislative session that wrapped up last week. Had a great conversation with both of those folks. And then, of course, we just had Damon Graham join us from Leadership Roswell Alumni Association, talking about the LRAA Teen Leadership Program for this year, happening March 21st and 22nd. Again, get applications for that at roswellteenleadership@gmail.com, or your students can get those at any of the guidance counselor offices at school there. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thank you very much for allowing us to be a part of your day. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, or Roswell, New Mexico. We'll be back